Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Salutations, cherished Chuddle Club members, and welcome to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Tonight we spelunk our way into 2005-6's The Descent. My name is Brian, joined by my beautiful co-occupants of the pod, Ross.
Oh, hey.
Thanks, buddy. And Sam.
Sup?
Awesome. I love it. I love hearing it. Thanks for joining me here tonight. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me here tonight.
Cool.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be had.
Great. Love it. But
I love it too.
Before we begin and get into our film for today, we had to bring along a couple of cave-dwelling guides to help us navigate our way through this movie. Colby and Taylor from the Horror House Podcast. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, guys.
It's
a pleasure.
Oh, I thought you said we were spunking the podcast, and I was like, oh, already? But spelunking, I got it. I correlated. I connected.
No, actually, the funny thing is, Make-A-Wish contacted me, and there was like, this guy's a fan of your TikToks, and he wants to hang out with you for like his last few months.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Taylor guys will follow me around.
Got to hop on the podcast, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just living his best life.
Do you think that I asked to look like this? Like one of the things that live in the cave that hunt the ladies in the film we're about to talk about? I don't choose. No one chooses this. This is
that's a Canadian thing.
Horrible genetics.
Your eyesight's about the same as theirs too.
Horrible genetics. Can he get flagged for some type of abuse? We're not supposed to punch down. No punching down, Colby.
We can just mute at any given. Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Tell us a bit about the pod.
Yeah. So we started as like more of a theme pod. So we have certain themes. We do lists, but lately we've been getting a lot more traction, and all we've been doing lately are directing a lot of indie horror filmmakers.
Interviewing a lot of indie directors, yeah.
Yep.
We just had the director from Frogman, Anthony Cousins. We had the director from Mind, Body, Spirit, and then the director of the upcoming film Devour that's coming out. And I guess he worked with like the Slipknot people, and I don't know.
Bad Candy.
I guess they're big. I don't know.
Yeah, Bad Candy, low budget Trick or Treat.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It didn't start out with me on the pod. Colby had the pod before he even met me, and I kind of crowbarred my way
Brian
in.
and I were on the pod before you were.
I pulled a B&E.
That's awesome.
Brian and Sam were on there before you.
Check out episode 2, everybody.
2. Yeah, we talk about horror movies from the year we were born, our top 5s. That was a fun one.
Yes,
each of us.
Taylor and I literally just met on TikTok, and the way we meshed so well, I was just like, I got to bring him on for an episode as a guest, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna bring this guy on as a full-time host.
Who slid into whose DMs?
His lovemaking complements my lovemaking. So just until the rhythm goes away, I'm gonna ride this boat until the cruise is done.
Rhythm is a dancer.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this one here. To everyone else out there, friendly reminder: we like to keep it spoiler-free up top. We'll let you know when those spoilers are presented. And last but certainly not least, we got a Patreon, and we have a beautiful coven of witches. Your sacrifice gives us life. We thank your beautiful souls, including Colby, Moldy, Puddin' Pie, the monster witch that cannot die.
Shout out.
Many more beautiful witches out there as well. You get one of those beautiful names when you join up, as well as, bonus episodes and all this kind of good stuff. You get to see our mugs more often.
Exclusive.
And video versions of a lot of the Patreon content as well. So it's fun over there. Join up. Why not?
Yeah, it's a blast. Definitely worth it.
Why not? What a good
Why not? I could just cut that out at this point, but now that we're talking about it.
No. Yeah. Keep it.
Oh, it's all kept. Now, with all club members present and accounted for, let's open up the goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
We got our goo lines. What did you call them last time, Sam? Shit, I should have wrote that down. It was something good. You got a nice little...
Lately, I've been saying, let's do some lines when it's time for this part.
That's great. Let's do some lines. Logline. A caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. I mean, it lays it all
that's,
right
that's,
on the
I mean,
line.
that's pretty spot on.
Or horribly right.
Or yeah, right.
Enough to entice you.
It's like
right?
Depends on what kind of friend you are.
It's kind of on the cusp of like, it's not explaining the movie badly, but it does such a thorough explanation. You're kind of just like, oh.
It's like a
lady's journey through therapy via caves.
Right.
It's a dictionary definition of the movie. That long
exactly.
Spelunking through trauma.
Taglines: the scariest movie in Earth. Get it? Not on Earth. It's in Earth
because
they're
it's
going
in the
Mm-hmm. Afraid of the dark. You will be July 2005.
Ooh.
So it's a good one when they throw in the date.
Mm-hmm.
When you're trapped 2 miles underground, there are many ways to lose your mind. Claustrophobia, disorientation, isolation, paranoia.
Oh my God.
Terror. That's the end. And
okay.
then I think
that was way too long. Like I was already giving a too long signal. And
I know.
It kept
going. Yeah, good. I don't know what that was used on, but I don't like that one.
No.
Face Your Deepest Fear is I think a pretty good one too.
Oh yeah. Good. It works on multiple levels.
What about cave monsters don't care how hot your accent is?
That's true.
Which one has
or
a
actually
hot
maybe
accent?
maybe that was maybe that's what was attracting them.
What accent you think is hot? Because they all have a different accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's because they're all.
I think it's so we can tell who the characters are once it's all dark.
Oh, even with all the accents, I could not really tell. The way we'll get into it in a moment. That was certainly fun. Who made this one? It was
more broad guessing at any point.
Pretty much. Neil Marshall wrote and directed this. He's done a lot of other stuff, most notably probably Dog Soldiers in the horror world is one of the big ones there. He's worked on a lot of other, like Game of Thrones I saw, like the Lost in Space TV show, the reboot that came out for Netflix. So he's been doing stuff currently-ish.
Yeah. He's still working.
Stuff too. Then we got coming in as our cast, Shauna MacDonald as Sarah, Natalie Mendoza as Juno, Alex Reed as Beth, Saskia Mulder as Rebecca, Mayanna Buring as Sam, Nora Jane Nuon as Holly, Oliver Milburn as Paul, Molly Kale as Jessica. And I said Craig Conway because he's Crawler, but he has a name. His name is Scar. All the other ones are just Crawlers.
Oh, he's also got a picture on IMDb.
Right. I did notice that some of the other crawlers, I didn't put you in other crawlers. There's two towards like the bottom have photos as well. And I'm like, ooh, a photo crawler. They're apparently kind of, sorry, Colby has a picture of fucking T-Boo behind him and it really just confused me when I looked down because he was looking down. Now that we know who's in this one, let's go over here.
It's time for the gore.
Fatality.
Basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory is the film? 1 to 5 intensity, 1 to 5 consistency. So for this one, I'll start it. Consistency, I put a 2.5 because, I mean, you really don't get it to the last half of the movie, but when you're in the last half of the movie, you're consistently getting it more or less, I'd say.
I'm right there with you.
So I think that works there. Intensity, I want to say around a 4 to 4.5.
I'm also thinking 4 to 4.5, but I'm not sure which way to go because it's like, it's not like hard, but I guess if for people who don't like gore, it's fucking gory as fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
A 7 is with a 4.5 and a 2.5. I feel like a 7 works. Or do you feel a 6.5 is better? Could you go either way?
I had mine
better.
I had mine around like a 6.5 just because the low lighting of the gore, like there is gore. And once you get past that second half of the movie, it's fucking game on. But for the majority of it, it's very low lighting, even red lighting, which is hilarious to me because it's like there are certain scenes that I thought were gorier because it's just bathed in red. You know what I mean? Like, so it was gory. It was just, I feel like it loses a little, the intensity loses a little bit just because of the low lighting, but we're in the same ballpark.
I think so. Colby, how do you feel?
I gave the gore a 7.5. My consistency, I gave 2 just because of how slow it was because nothing happens until the third act with the creatures and everything. Mm-hmm. So I gave the consistency a 2 and then intensity I had a 4.
So that's a 6, bro.
6? Oh, okay, sorry. The gore itself, I had 7.5. My bad.
Yeah. Gotcha.
No,
cool.
perfect.
All right, Taylor.
All right, so for the gore, I'm gonna give it a 7 because it does it's just like I'm following everybody else, but it does kick in towards the last part. Consistency, I'm gonna give it like a 2 as well, just because it doesn't happen till the end. But as far as like intensity, I'm gonna give it a 5 because like just if you think about it at the beginning where they're just in the caves before anything really happens, like I'm getting claustrophobic and I'm just like, oh, they're in all these tight spaces and it's very atmospheric, but it makes they do such a great job of making it feel so tight.
Absolutely.
And make you feel like you're in these spaces that there's no room to get out of. Like, so I'm just thinking, what happens if something goes wrong? What happens if you forget something and you have to go back to the car? What if you have to like number 2 in one of these? I just had so many questions, like logically.
Yep.
It's a 5.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I think those are fucking all consistent scores among us, and I think that's a pretty good place to rate it. Now let's go ahead and jump over here.
Who is the horror forward?
Got 4 questions for you. First off, what subgenre does it belong into? Next, how are you going to want to watch this one? In a group, being like quiet or spooky or loud and, rambunctious, whatever. Is it for beginners? And should you know anything about the movie before going into it? So subgenre, I don't know, spelunking horror.
I was gonna say spelunking horror, creature feature.
I was gonna say like
spelunking horror,
subterranean spooky. You've got it's real earthy.
Sam really nails it with the claustrophobic feeling. So if you like films,
people who
tight in there, trapped.
It's definitely a creature feature.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say a regular caving horror movie, even if there were no creatures.
It's true.
Pretty scary.
But yeah, it doesn't like bend any subgenres or go any kind of crazy
it's pretty
way from
straightforward.
Very linear.
Yeah. Which is great. I think it works to the horror aspect of it and can nail on that a little bit harder. How are you going to watch this one? I think it's best, like whether if you're a group or alone, I think it's best to be quiet and into that movie. I think alone would be beneficial.
Try to get scared.
Yeah.
Well, it's the double-edged sword of when you're filming shit in the dark is that like you really have to be fucking paying attention to what's going on or else. I mean, there were certain things I had to rewind immediately because I looked away for 2 seconds and then looked back. I was like, wait, what? Fuck, shit. So it's like,
you can't multitask.
No,
it's tough. It's tough to write notes and watch this movie.
You have to be pretty much in the moment, group or alone, kind of just zoned in on this movie.
Indeed. All agreed.
Try to get scared.
Get scared.
Try to get scared.
Beginners, I mean, that's where it's going to be a little bit tough because of maybe the gore factor of it.
Could be intense for a beginner, but if you're someone if you ask for a horror movie, I think it's okay to give it to them, depending, for the most part. But if it's someone who's not into horror and you're like, we're going to watch The Descent, they're probably not going to enjoy it.
I mean, that makes sense.
I guess that's for any horror movie, though.
Yeah. I think it's a really good beginner horror movie just because like it's a creature feature. You get some interpersonalization. Like there's more than one monster in this movie, which I think is like fun. Human monsters, actual monsters. You know what I mean? You get kind of like and then also what you guys were talking about before, claustrophobia, the monster is just looming throughout this entire fucking movie where it's like this third omnipresent terror while the other shit's popping off. You know what I mean? Where it feels like if you're not into one, you've got 2 other crazy monsters you can deal with for a beginner.
And the third monster, infidelity, the monster.
Yes.
There's 3. There's 3.
The grief monster makes its way in there. There's a few different there.
Grief.
Yeah. Should you know anything before going in? Sorry, Sam. What?
I was just going to say, Ross saying the beginner thing just made me think about, is it for beginners? If you're ready to take the step into gore, you know what I mean? Like Halloween, I feel is more for beginners. This is like, you have to be ready to see some shit.
Yeah.
It goes pretty wild at the end. I wouldn't give it to anybody for beginning just because, and I don't know how far we want to go into talking about like scenes towards like the third quarter of the film, but it does like you're literally there. You're surrounded by viscera. So I don't know. I wouldn't give it to beginners.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And I think it's beneficial to know not much going in. It doesn't kill the vibe.
You need,
but
honestly, I think you can be as
nothing
blind
to go into it.
Yeah.
You can be as blind as the monsters. That's fine.
Or just knowing that they're descending and there's monsters down there, I don't think spoils anything either.
Yeah.
It's kind of
just have a good time with it.
Except for a few things, which we'll get to.
Points. Sure.
That is true. You kind of can't spoil it.
You
can, but like I don't think
you would explain a lot of character dynamics first to do
Would it ruin your enjoyment though if somebody's spoiled? I feel like I could still watch the film knowing, and I'd be like, "Oh, this rules."
I didn't know my first time going in some of the first things that happened, and I was surprised and enjoyed them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can speak on that in a moment because I hear a guy fapping outside my window. The Mothman's arrived with his warnings of doom. Not for emetophobes. I mean, I thought we were going to make it until right at the end of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a throw-up scene. So there's vomit.
Child death. Yeah.
Spouse death.
Spousal.
No, also, if you're claustrophobic, this movie's going to fuck with you the entire time.
It's going to be a big...
Yeah.
But maybe you like it. I don't know. It's like arachnophobic people watching that new thing, Infested.
Oh, I just got the chills.
See?
See, it does not do that for me.
That was your litmus test.
I think I must have some
Everyone has their little
claustrophobia in
thing
me, though, because I don't think of myself as claustrophobic, but watching this, like, especially crawling through some of the tunnels, I'm like, no fucking way.
Well, we'll talk about some of those tunnels for sure, because, we'll get to that. We'll get to it, of course. All right, let's leave the Mothman be and get into this movie.
Let him keep fapping outside the window.
He'll be there all night. Spoiler zone. All right, we're in it. We can let the spoilers fly, but before we get into the actual movie, let's do a little bit behind the scenes with IMDb. Behind the scenes. A lot of these, the ones that I grabbed, just kind of speak towards the special effects and creature effects because I think that's probably the coolest stuff there. But 21 separate cave sets were built for the film. These were carefully reused with different camera angles, set dressing, and lighting to suggest a nearly endless collection of interconnected tunnels and caverns.
That's
and
cool.
For realism, they often just kind of limited to the lighting that the actors and the sources of what they brought with them to work with it. So I mean, that's why it's so dark, but that's why it feels so authentic. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think the caves and the set pieces are fucking awesome and look great in this.
Yeah, for sure.
Clearly can tell. And they're like, we obviously couldn't film in a real cave. That's way too dangerous. And it would be so fucking hard to do anything like they were doing.
Imagine if they used a real
God,
cave.
that'd be
fucking insane.
Yeah. Like you get all the shit in and then you finish. You're like, how do we get all of this shit out?
How do you do anything? How do you get any sort of like
They
different
just
shot
blow the side
besides
of a
like the
mountain
same
after
like
the filming's done.
it just
Think
all
about
looks
some
the
of
same.
those shots. Like, there's no way you could shoot that.
You couldn't do this movie. It would be a found footage movie. Is the only way to really do it.
Totally.
According to the audio commentary on the special edition DVD, there was an exact replica made of Nora Jane Noan, that's Holly, after the movie was finished. She got to keep the head of the doll. Once she put it in her mother's freezer as a joke.
So that's fun.
Speaking of keeping props from the film. Yeah, right.
Mom fucking loved that shit.
Although I would totally do something like that had I
had your head, your decapitated head as a movie prop.
Let's be
How
honest.
much do you love your mom?
If we had a silicone version of our, any body part decapitated, we would be using that to relentlessly fuck with everybody we knew.
Absolutely.
A large amount of people for sure.
Well, I feel like other than my head, people probably wouldn't recognize it. It's like, you see, that's my arm. Like, well,
like your other body parts. I mean,
I know it's an arm.
Yeah, Ross might be more identifiable. He has the most identifiable marks throughout his body. You just have one tattoo. If we got your leg, all of us probably have more pieces of our body that get chopped off that are identifiable. That's good, right?
That's fine.
Is that?
Hey, if you guys get chopped up, we'll be able to tell.
Identify our bodies quicker. That's the PSA for tattooing.
So people can identify you later.
If you get chopped up, love it.
When you're dismembered.
When you're dismembered.
Because
your
it will
teeth are
happen.
removed, your fingertips are burned.
Yeah. And your arms show up in St. Louis. You could just be like, somebody could just point that out.
St. Louis.
It's the arm capital of America.
It's the arm. Yeah.
You didn't know that?
To where arms go when they're chopped off. St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Thank you for your service.
St. Louis. St. Louis welcomes them actually with open arms.
St. Louis with arms wide open.
St. Louis is the stub hub.
Hey, this film is dedicated to Meg, Neil Marshall's beloved dog that died halfway through production. I'm including that there because he felt it was important enough, and one for the animals. Claustrophobia is a big aspect of the film's fear, but Neil Marshall had no clue how many people were affected by it until he showed the film to audiences. That's, the one big thing I've always heard about this.
I had no idea either.
Oh, yeah. It had a huge theater response.
Yeah, especially to it.
I was like, I'm not scared. I'll go in an elevator or hang out in a closet. That's cool. And then I'm watching this. I'm like, I don't want to do that at all.
I do not care for this.
Well, there's a...
Dude, I don't know.
I feel like
there's... Sorry.
No, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't even like hallways after this film. Like, I was like, I just want to be outside all day, every day.
And it's, I didn't... For better choice of words, it triggers some kind of because we think of claustrophobia as in like a small room or like an elevator or a tight hallway, and not like a rock hole that you have 2.5 miles of fucking rocks above you. Like, that is a completely different animal. And I feel like even if you have like the smidgiest of claustrophobia, this is like that on meth. Like, it's just you're like, like if you already had a little bit of the EBGBs, you're gonna watch this and be like, oh fuck no, absolutely fucking not.
For any I think normal person, it's gonna hit hard. I watched it and I was expecting something a little. We'll get into it, but
yeah,
I thought it could have done a little bit more with its claustrophobia. But that doesn't mean it does not hit it at all. But that's me being just an adrenaline junkie. I'm just going for that thrill, man. I'm like Holly, I'm just running for
it. You just wanted a 20-minute like wiggle shuffle scene.
Not
where
even
it's just
that, but like.
Oh yeah, I'm also going to refer to these creatures as chads instead of chuds.
Okay, this is your moment.
We love chuds here, obviously, but these are chads, which are cannibalistic humanoid Appalachian dwellers.
Oh, because they're from the Appalachian Mountains. I like it. They look like Billy Corgan. I was going to say the Smashing. They're all the members of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes. All these Chad Corgans just running around. That's actually the name of the monster. Corgan. Chad Corgan.
Despite all his rage, he's still just a man bat in a cave.
There we go. Loop it back.
Just loop that in a few times over each other, and then they'll get a weird cacophony of
fucking 1800s constable.
Jesus fucking Christ! Did you guys know that Neil Marshall described the crawlers as cavemen who have stayed underground? The director explained, "This evolved."
That's what I thought they were. Yeah,
they evolved in this environment over thousands of years. They've adapted perfectly to thrive in the cave. They've lost their eyesight, they have acute hearing and smell, and function perfectly in the pitch black, as we will see. Expert climbers, they can climb around and, move all around within their surroundings. That's where they live, bro. The crawlers were designed by Paul Hyatt, a makeup and prosthetics creator. Production designer Simon Bowles said that the crawler design had started out as more of a wide-eyed and even more creature-like, but they shifted that towards a more human appearance. At one point it had like whiter skin or more like translucent, like a brighter skin, but they're like, it was too bright and like bouncing off the walls and shit, so they're like, we have to like muddy them down,
muddy it up a little bit.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's like, because they kind of look like honestly, like third or fourth viewing of this, they kind of just look like vampires, like how you would see like Dusk Till Dawn, like bat creature kind of like vampires. But they have like a hint, like just a dash. If you're making this Chad stew, it's like a dash of naked mole rat. Like, they've kind of got these like little frumpy front faces, and their eyes are so cataracts that like I kind of got like the subterranean creature really kind of like showed in these.
One of my notes says that they were designed to resemble Nosferatu, which very clearly I can see that too.
Nosferatu who?
Oh God. God damn it.
One thing I love about this is it doesn't explain the creatures, so it's like it's like a fear of the unknown. Like, you don't know what they are, you don't know where they come from. So it made me think, like, do you think these are like humans that have been stuck in the cave that adapted to certain creatures that are in there, like bats, because they have a lot of the same personality traits as bats?
It's just Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel got stuck in a cave. That's what it is. Vin
for
Diesel
thousands of years.
And that's
for thousands of years.
Yes, it's Vin Diesel plus bat.
Yeah.
And then one of those bats.
See, that explains an unrated version.
You're welcome.
Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious movies. That's why he has like super power. Like
he's like a man.
Oh,
He's like a man bat.
Dominic
Batman.
Toretto, he bit.
Dominic Toretto, thank you. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He was bit by a Vin Diesel bat.
Exactly.
Science is beautiful.
It is a wonderful thing.
God,
right?
I love
it.
science.
I love it. It's so much fun.
But yeah, I definitely. So the first time I had no idea what they were, but the second time when we saw the cave paintings, I was like, oh, so these are some people who got like stuck down here, decided to live down here, and just evolved into this.
They're just like
And
all up
when did
here?
they get the name Crawler?
Was that just like
script,
just an FX
maybe.
kind of?
Because
Yeah.
it's not mentioned in
IMDb.
the actual movie. I noticed that it's like in one of the. I think I found it in like one of the other movies, like part 3 or part 2. They actually call them crawlers or something
there
like
a
that.
Interesting. I could see that eventually making its way. Like if you're making 3 of these, they
On
eventually call them
IMDb,
something.
They call them crawlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
they come
exactly.
into
It's
San
listed-
Francisco, you're like, it's the crawlers, and they're back.
Yeah, we have to call them something by now. They keep
Oh,
fucking
no.
following me or whatever. I haven't seen any of the sequels, but
I started the second one.
There's this scene. There is this scene in the second one where you get to see these,
Taylor loves
these
the second
bald
one, dude.
creatures
Taylor
again
loves the
vilifying
second one.
bald people. But again, I digress. These bald creatures like shitting off of a cliff. It's pretty wild. And I'm not
Literally?
I kid you not. It's part 2. There's this scene. You get to see it shit off a cliff. It grabs onto a rock and just hangs off of this cliff. And I'm just like, I've never thought of that's like the squatty potty before he was even invented.
So, yeah, they're like they're
Crawly
pooping
potty.
like bats.
No need for wiping. It just,
just
gets
drops.
up and does its business, and then it's crazy.
You think they get some good coffee out of that?
Some great coffee.
All decaf.
Oh, dear.
the split second shot of the crawler's silhouette before they're encountered, where we see it for the first time, that was shot with apparently without the actresses realizing he was there. So they do that.
Awesome.
And then the
Oh,
appearance of the creatures was kept secret from the cast members until the first scene in which they encountered them in the film. That's when the cast was finally filming and the group encounters the crawlers. The actors were genuinely scared and screamed and ran off the set screaming and laughing.
I love that when you get actors' genuine reactions of being scared
Yeah.
like that.
And I feel like that's a fun,
like
good
how they
one.
did with
For
the kids
something
with
like
it.
this, yeah, it's
Yes.
not like mean spirited.
Exactly. They're like, they know they're in a creature. I think they know they're in a creature feature movie. What if they just told them that, yeah, you're in this fun spelunking movie?
They know they're in a movie. They're not in a real cave. Like all
Yeah.
this stuff.
They didn't even read the script. They're just ad-libbing. Like, what's that? Why is Voldemort here?
Exactly. What's that guy? They tried very hard to keep
You should make a
the
spelunking
creature
count.
cast
Ooh.
and the spelunking cast very separate throughout all the filming and throughout all of it apparently. And lastly, I just thought this was fun. The neon light sticks seen in the film were purchased from an adult toy shop. I don't know what capacity this would have been used at an adult toy shop. It would have been funny if they just had like glowing dildos.
You gotta crack the dildo.
And it's just like floppy.
Oh my god! Could you imagine? Could you imagine them climbing up a part of a cave with just the suction cup dildos in hands?
Just floppy dildo.
Juno has one of the giant ones from Atros.
Oh, good God.
You can't go a day without mentioning that
She's a
movie,
giant
can you?
bitch. No, I can't.
You like to relive my trauma every day.
Thanks to you.
All right. Who picked this? Why in our history? I picked this one. Well, kind of. I let this one up to the Discord. I gave you guys 3 options and everyone voted on this one for my pick this month. I hadn't seen this before. I've known of it and I know what happens at the end. And I unfortunately kind of like knew that, but I didn't know really any of the content in the middle. So it was still a fun ride to go on that.
This was
journey,
your
but-
first watch, Brian?
Yeah, buddy.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen
So-
it till recently. I don't know how long ago. Letterboxd could tell me, but I was going to probably pick this sometime soon. So when Brian put it out for people to vote on in Discord, and that's what it ended up being, I was like, Well, we're doing it, but I was gonna pick that.
I don't think I caught this in theaters. I know that I had it, or someone had it on DVD. Where the first viewing, I didn't like it. It's not going to affect the score later on, but it wasn't really sticking. Like the plot wasn't sticking with me and everything like that. And then I had this like huge powerhouse like horror movie binge fest. And I watched this with all of the bonus features, the alternative endings and all that stuff. And I remembered the alternative ending that they wind up not using. And then all the deleted scenes, which made me remember more about this. So it was fun to watch it like, because I watched it on Tubi with the OG ending and everything like that. So it was really nice to actually see this.
With the American ending or with the UK ending?
I think it's the...
I watched one that's on Prime Video, which is the US
American. Yeah. Same.
Which ending do you guys prefer?
I think UK's director's cut.
I haven't seen the UK one.
I like the UK ending better.
I mean, it's the we'll talk about it once we get. Yeah, it is. It's the UK version.
Miles better.
But it changes the meaning of the end of the movie too in a weird way. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Colby, Taylor, what's your guys' history with this one? I think you guys have seen it, right?
I saw it in the theaters in high school.
Yeah, I graduated in 2005 from high school, and me and a bunch of my friends, before they all went away and did all their stuff, we went and got and saw The Descent. I saw it 3 times. I saw it 3 times in the theaters. I was a big nerd for this film.
Awesome.
And I had the DVD with all the stuff that he was talking about, and I was just like, I was reminiscing while he was saying it. I was like, yes, I remember that. I remember that, because big nerd.
Oh, yeah. Cool. And this is also like heyday of bonus features on fucking DVDs. I remember like there was like probably 8 times more content lengthwise than the actual runtime of this film.
It's ridiculous. I'm like, you're giving this to me for $19, you sucker. And I just take it and run.
Exactly.
As we're talking about it, I'm going to buy it on Amazon right now on Blu-ray, because you said the unrated version has the alternate ending, the UK ending.
Director's cut. Yeah.
The director's cut. All right. Let me make sure
it's
that's right.
It's not that much.
$8.99 right now.
Oh, dope.
And the Vin Diesel.
It's only like a minute longer, by the way.
I just like this movie enough to
no, I don't blame you, but yeah cool. Good. Sam's buying it on podcast.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's like top 5 for me.
Yeah,
this is great.
Awesome.
There should be a fun discussion about it, which I think we should just jump into and get us kicked off here. So I mean, it pretty much opens up with a group of 3 women whitewater rafting, having a good time on the water, while there's like a small child and a man watching from some rocks on the side.
The fucking juxtaposition of this fucking guy and this girl on a fucking just waving while everybody who's whitewater rafting is like they even do tight shots of just violently hitting their heads on rocks and shit. Like, and they're just
I don't think they're hitting their heads on rocks, but yes, they are whitewater rafting.
They're just getting banged up. Like, there's a scene where like they dive in and like she like bangs herself. Like it's not like, I don't know, but like it's just hilarious. Like they're just getting the shit beat out of them, and then there's just this like ticker day parade, like just queen wave while they're doing it. I thought was just fantastic.
The guy's on the shore with a baby, Bjorn. He's like, I wish I was that extreme. Yeah. And he's just waving at all the he's just waving at them while they're whitewater rafting and doing crazy stuff. Like it's so great.
It's like a Mountain Dew commercial.
I was like, bye, gender roles. See you later. It was cool. It was a good moment for 2005. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is our only dude in the film. Him right here. Yeah. And which is something the director really wanted, writer-director really wanted to do, was turn it and make it a strong women-led cast, as opposed to there was another.
I didn't even notice.
He made point to it at the time. He's like, a lot of horror movies that you see at the time, it's just like all this like big male-led cast or whatever. So he was also, I think, mentioned of saying stuff like, so I did Dog Soldiers as well, and that was just like a whole bunch of dudes. So this is kind of like the opposite of that as well.
We just talk about how well this dude's practical effects are.
They're great.
With Dog Soldiers and then this.
Oh, yeah. Incredible. Fucking amazing. Like, talk about someone who clearly is BFFs with the special effects crew and knows how to shoot special effects. Like, I feel specifically with creature feature movies, like that makes or breaks an entire film. And he knows how to shoot special effects perfectly.
He got their best work out of that crew for sure.
Oh yeah.
I have a little complaint with the action shots. It's a little hard to follow.
I agree.
Were you
I don't
left
think
in the
that's
dark?
a point
It's like
against
shaky
the
and
creature
cut.
effects.
Left in the dark.
I guess some of the effects are hard to. I guess the creature
Be
effects in general,
appreciated.
maybe the special effects. Just some things.
I'm saying, like,
Cinematography
well,
of how the scene was
shaky
filmed.
cam.
I'm just trying to. Yeah.
Well, the special effects for me is like part and parcel of the gore. I mean, like, because it's filming those incredible gore scenes as well and making them readable, but also still within the atmosphere.
I guess I was thinking of the movie being shot so well or something like this. I don't know.
Well, after this little whitewater adventure, they finish up. They're having a great time. One of them knocks one of the women into the water. It's all fun and games or whatever. And then like they're getting up, tying out. And the dude like goes over to the woman that gets like knocked over and like takes off her helmet and helps her out. And I'm like, this dude's definitely banging this woman, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask
Yeah,
if you
like-
saw like the foreshadowing and
It was
the
at
chemistry between
that
Juno
moment.
and Paul.
Well, it's also like, what is it? It's Billy, right? Like looks over and is like kind of looking at them going like, the fuck?
Who?
Like you're definitely supposed to get like there's some kind of vibe going on.
Is there a character named Billy in this movie?
Not to
Or is
my
it-
knowledge. Beth,
No,
maybe?
Beth, maybe.
It was
Yeah.
Beth,
It was a
Sarah,
B.
Juno, and I don't know the
Not
guy's
Sarah
name.
though. Not the
the
not
husband.
the wife though.
The husband's Paul, right?
Okay.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's got to be Beth then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just adding characters.
Yeah.
There were signs of banging the wrong woman all over the place, and then
Yes.
we found out. And then we found
clearly
out.
they're giving eyes. We do get so they're just going to set this up, and we don't touch on it for a little bit, but we have a little car ride back, and Sarah asks Paul, "Are you okay? You seem to be a bit distant." He replies like, "I'm fine." But I love this shot because while they're having this conversation, it's shot
Beautiful
from like
shot.
the back seat,
Yes.
and you just see them looking at each other as the car is just turning into the other lane, as you clearly see a car coming straight for them. And you're like,
the
"Oh
worst
shit, it's going to happen."
the worst way to get out of a conversation.
Indeed. Yeah. If he was trying to avoid it, he did it.
Or the best.
Or the
He
best.
just, he just didn't want to take responsibility.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me?
You can.
Okay, so when this, because I had to rewind it because I know the scene, but I was like, oh my God, the second they made the impact, and then like I completely just brain blipped Kid Kebab that happens because like you see the fucking 3 things of rebarb go through that kid's seat and just fucking annihilate that little girl from behind.
Do you?
Yeah.
You see the guy's
It's
head
I
get
saw the guy's
annihilated.
head get annihilated. I didn't
Well,
realize
the
the girl had died until we see her in the hospital.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't
you
realize that
see-
either.
See, maybe I'm interpreting because
The
like
shot from behind that you see of it going through is the guy's head.
and it's going through the chest as well. Because I thought that was the long hair of the daughter. Like it looked like it was like.
Oh no, you only see them go into one body, and it's the dad.
Right.
Oh,
The
well,
child's
shit.
implied in the hospital, I think.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. You're imagining child death on screen.
I'm imagining kid kebabs.
Yes, you
We
are.
wish it was. We wish it was there.
You're watching too many Damien Rugna movies.
It's just dad
right?
kebab. I mean, I assume kid kebab happened, but you only see dad.
Oh, okay.
Now, yeah, then that like we said, so it's like we get this slam, like copper pipes or something are flying from the car, and that's what's going through. I thought,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
maybe it's rebar or whatever it is, but it's fucking
No, they're pipes.
strong
yeah.
piping.
Strong piping.
And Paul gets
That was
it.
my nickname in high school.
You too?
It's a metaphor. The husband was strong piping, and then he gets strong pipe.
Old Sam strong piping.
I was
Same
really
initials.
into baking cakes.
He had a good piping skill. Like he was a strong piper.
Yeah.
Anyway, at this point I went, oh shit, because I wasn't expecting this. Like,
No.
like I
You
said,
weren't?
at
I
all.
feel like it's so telegraphed with because we get shots from behind looking through the window before, and you're like, they're about to get in a car accident and die.
Well,
At least, you know.
the way
I
it was
just-
filmed, I guess, and the way the shot brings you into it, the taste of the anxiety that the rest of the film delivers by showing you that it's about to happen. And it's like that moment that maybe you've had in a car accident where you see the thing about to hit you, and it's like,
You're just like,
there's nothing I can do to avoid this, and it smacks. That's why it was just the culmination of all that. And then I was like, oh shit. Because I wasn't expecting brain goo. I guess.
Yeah.
I just rewatched the scene while we're talking, completely just made up the girl getting impaled. It's definitely the dude.
Oh, yeah.
You do that sometimes. It's cool.
Yeah, man. We got you.
It's just
why we love you.
Yeah, I got a few hamsters loose on the fucking upstairs cage.
And then this is where we get our first of many shots like this. It's like this birthday cake shot. And there's like 5 candles on this cake and they get blown out. It says, "Happy birthday, Jessica." This is her daughter. And then,
which is super fucked because like there's like a second of dialogue that she goes like, "We're gonna set up for your birthday, honey. It'll be great." Like before getting into the car, where you're like, "Oh God, oh now you're reliving that."
They're talking about, she's talking to her daughter, like looking back, talking to her back seat about her birthday party.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's kind of also why. I mean, maybe it was this part too. It's like it gets heavy, quote unquote, real quick. After, we were just having a jaunty whitewater rafting trip. And I was like, okay, this is I'm
They're
feeling what
fun.
people are talking about this movie, I think, already. Because I always thought of it as a heavy horror.
Sure. It's artistically done, too. I like the way it goes from her waking up and then she's in the hospital, but clearly she's dreaming or something. Lights are flickering out, all that stuff to lead us into the part where I'm like, not crying, but, I'm lubed up.
Yeah. And Sam, you're actually bringing it back to an older episode. I like how they introduce the hallucinations this early on. So when she has them reoccurring throughout the film, you kind of are used to her in this dream state versus like in Hush, where, there should have been way more alternative routes for, what I mean?
Well, in my opinion.
To each their own.
Yeah.
I think
Sam was. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I think it's done very well because it is kind of a slow burn and slow paced movie, but you get such a good gut punch right in the beginning like that. So it lets it like tame out before it like picks back up again.
For 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to get rocking into the heavy like gore and horror in that aspect, but as we keep mentioning, there's plenty more things that give you the heebie-jeebies going throughout it, which is what I think again works very well for this movie as being like just a really good solid horror movie with some good fucking gore in it.
It is a good example. Like if someone, I've said it might not be for beginners, but if someone was like, what is a prime example of a horror movie? I think you could hold this up as like a excellent example of a horror movie.
I think I'm not saying it needed to, but I think if you did pull back on the gore, it would have hit that almost perfect entry level, not to like a PG-13 level, just like,
sure,
I don't know, some other level. Maybe it makes it more entryway, but I think it was great.
I agree with that.
But we get our pop back to reality, as Sam said, in the hallway of the hospital, of when she runs into Beth, and then like we learn that her daughter Jessica has died in the accident. I wrote, it's sad.
It's such an
Very
emotional
sad,
scene where
moment.
she breaks down in that hallway in the hospital too. That was rough.
Yeah.
And then Juno's like, I can't deal with this because my boyfriend's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
You're
like,
not the only one who lost someone.
Yeah.
Oh my
She's like,
god.
stop being so. And Juno was like, stop being so selfish.
Stop making this about you.
My boyfriend
Juno-
died.
Juno is like Juno. Okay, I don't know. Let's just
the
bridge it
best.
out.
She's the best.
Oh God, I think we've all in our lifetimes have had this friend, not the one that's like banged your significant other, but just a friend that is like a complete domino effect of all of the absolute wrong decisions. And like, hey, I'm going to surprise. Hey, let's go do something. And then it winds up being the fucking worst thing that's ever happened to you. You know what I mean? Like I've had a few friends throughout my years where I was like, hey, we got a crazy night planned. This is going to be so much fun. And then like 2 hours in, I'm like, oh shit, I should not
You
be
were
in this
fucking
fucking
2 miles underground spelunking in a cave.
Yes.
And you're like, I shouldn't be here right now.
I should not fucking be here right now.
I would have known at whitewater rafting that I didn't want to be friends with that person. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. I mean, what else do you want to do? There's nothing that comes after whitewater rafting that is a good idea. There's just not.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go spelunking with me?
I don't.
No, because we're going to start
camp.
spelunking and then it's going to go somewhere different. And then Billy Corgan's going to be waiting for me like down in the bottom of this cave with Vin Diesel. They're in a relationship making kids. I don't want this.
I don't want any of that.
I'll go whitewater rafting. That seems fun
I
to
would
me.
too.
I would do
Yeah.
that. I don't
Yeah,
like
for
caves.
sure.
I get claustrophobic. I
I'm
wouldn't
not
do that.
doing
think-
caves.
I'll do
I'll
do the ones with stairs and handrails and all the shit Holly railed against.
Caves.
Those are mine. Exactly.
I'll do the fucking boredom caverns.
I would do
boredom.
I've done them. They're fun.
I'd probably do urban spelunking over actual
going in a
spelunking.
Basement.
No, like where they go in like abandoned buildings and shit, like urban spelunking. Yeah,
Dude, urban spelunking is dope. I've never done it personally, but watching that shit is so interesting.
Urban exploring.
Oh yeah, urban exploring. Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's urban spelunking now. That's what it's known as now.
I go urban spelunking all the time when I go down to do laundry.
It's just a bunch of fucking like goddamn climate. I'm looking like cliffhanger, just trying to get to my dryer.
Brian actually moved out of Florida just to go urban spelunking. He's like, you can't do it here, man. There's no.
It's
We're
a
even in the
lifestyle.
basement, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all this sad, the descent. We get our title card finally.
Title card.
Hey,
Appalachia. We're in the mountains over here somewhere. 1 year later, we get Sarah and Beth driving through the mountains. They're going out into the woods to meet up with Juno, we find out. They arrive at this old-ass looking cabin in the woods. Juno runs out to meet them. Everyone's happy to see each other. It's a whole, thing. Seems like it's going to be a real, we're getting the vibe that it's going to be like this real good thing for Sarah to get out and like,
sure, yeah.
How long after the events was this again?
A year.
1 year.
A year. Okay, that's right.
Which, I mean, we don't really get
They're
a
here to
sense
celebrate the death of her husband and daughter.
like on the year anniversary.
Remember you had a kid?
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's rough.
It's like, why? Yeah. Oof.
So they get up here, and then we learn that there's someone else named Rebecca and Sam. They're inside. They meet up with these people. I just wrote for the scene, since we could just get a lot here of just character interaction and a little bit of just building of who these people are, and it's
snappy
done
dialogue.
really well.
Down to earth, not overdone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's exposition dump, but we're just getting a sense that these people know each other and
Totally. And it also really shows the level of expertise between the group, as in like they're not all seasoned climbers or spelunkers. It's like they're kind of like, there's what Molly is, the one that is to like base jumping.
Holly's like the extreme
I'll
thrill
get a
seeker.
character
Yeah.
right
Don't worry
eventually.
about it.
But yeah, no, like she's been, or like base jumping and like more of the extreme sports things. And you have other people that are like getting into med school and like are going to be a doctor. And like, so they're not all professionals, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm starting to get that
break out here.
Yes. But it's
they
also
all
kind
seem
of
to do like little fun things. Like they would all go out whitewater rafting or something together.
Exactly.
Like they are this like a little adventure group.
Which
might go
makes
mountain
the
biking.
decision to explore a fucking cave that has not been explored before such a fucking narcissistic thing. Like, I feel it's such a overcorrection where she's like, wow, I was banging your husband and then he died and then I ran away. So if we discover a cave and then name it after you, then I can tell you that I was fucking your husband. And then that doesn't matter because there's a cave after you.
I don't think
makes it
she was
okay.
planning on telling her after doing it. She was just doing it to make herself feel better.
That's what I'm saying, is that like this, I don't know, it's just the huge overcorrection of like, because at this point, when they're exploring this cave, this newer one, she's lied to the whole group. Like the entire group thinks that they're in this one cave system.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
She said they had a map, and they're like, "Where's this map?" She's like, "Nah."
Yeah, they all think that
that's a good sign.
I kicked it in the creek.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, no, they have a specific cavern that's been discovered that they're going to. I forget. I have it in my notes, and we'll get to it.
Borman or something like that.
Exactly. It's something like that because they make the joke of boredom caverns. Like, it's only a level 2 caving cavern. So, yeah, everything that she's doing is incredibly jealous. And like you said, Sam, I don't think she was going to necessarily tell if everything went well.
No.
It was just still supposed to be like,
it's like a redemption thing. You know what I mean?
This will get Sarah better, and we can all be like friends and just kind of like going along. And
I don't think she was going to tell her the truth.
No way. Juno's cold-blooded.
Again, we're getting this kind of like introductions of all these good characters here. We meet Holly, the adrenaline junkie, and they have all this kind of like cheers to adventure. The night continues on, gang hanging out, drinking and chatting.
She's the only one who's a bit like overdone a little bit, Holly, in this opening thing, being like,
why, dude? She's extreme.
no rules, just right, out back, yeah, all that shit.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw her, I'm like, well, you're the first one. I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen to you. You're going to like fall down something. You're going to jump off. You're going to like do something because you're going extreme.
Good old foreshadowing.
I don't mind it. I don't mind that I know that. We all know that. Someone's got to be the first one. Next morning, before the next morning, we get the nighttime. Everyone's like sleeping. It's dead of night. And Sarah wakes up and hears like a hawk screech. So she goes to the window. She's looking out the window in the darkness. She hears her daughter's laughter. And then when out of nowhere, a copper pipe flies through the window into Sarah, jolting her awake. Yeah. Pipe.
Copper
I don't like when pipes jolt me awake.
Dude, I hate getting piped.
That is scary.
So fucking pitted.
When you get piped awake, those are the worst.
That was a nice little jump scare.
It was that did get me.
Again, goes to kind of your hallucination, kind of freak out, weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it implied that like Sarah's kind of self-medicating at this point?
Yes, it is.
She takes a pill
with the bottle that she's got.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, yeah, she takes something. We also have the next morning, Juno's out. She's gone out running and she's running around, waking everyone up, which I was confused, but I guess there's a bunch of different cabins that she's running to that everyone else is staying in. I thought they're all in one. Yeah.
Trying to go fuck everybody else's husband.
There's like a
she's going door to door.
She's sniffing. She's hot on the. She's
making her
scent.
rounds, dude.
Excuse me, is your husband home?
I smell commitment.
There was some behind the scenes thing of like, oh yeah, they had to like change the set dressing and do all this differently. Each time that she enters the cabin, it's meant to look like it's a different one. Went way over my fucking head.
Yeah, didn't notice.
Wait, I didn't see that. I had no idea there were supposed to be separate cabins. I thought it was just all the same cabin.
I just thought it was all the same one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
All right.
You fooled us.
So it's great. They're all
Hollywood
getting ready.
Fools us again.
Having a fun, relaxed, good time. They take a little photo to commemorate everything. Snap. Ominous music. Uh-oh, this doesn't seem good. So they start driving down some country mountain roads again. Sarah's driving like fast and having a good old time, flying around everywhere. Yeah, Juno makes a remark about never being lost in their life.
Do you think that photo was like a good foreshadow to like saying this is the last time you're ever going to see them all together happy?
Right.
Or alive.
Totally.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's
alive for sure. I mean, if you're watching this movie, you know.
Yeah, but I think even the first time watching it, if you're not a beginner and you're a horror fan, you're watching, you're just, we're in the spoilers now, we're jumping all over.
Yeah.
But even the first time watching it, I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, who's going to live?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's it feels ominous. The music adds to it and everything, and it kind of brings you into the pace of the movie here and get us going and heading towards the cave. Finally, we've done enough character development here. Let's get us over there. We find more about the caves we're going to. Here's where we learn it's just some level 2 easy stuff. Boredom caves, more like boredom caves. They arrive to their parking spot. They all get out of their cars, start to gather their gear. This is where we see Juno take her guide for the caves out of her jacket and put it back into the car. Like, the hell's the point of this, Juno? This is extremely sus. Even if like you weren't going to the right caves, why would you do that? Like, I don't know.
Well, it's just
draw
there's
attention
so many.
to yourself.
I'm not saying like a barbarian level of red flags start happening at this point, but like you start marching and then you march further and then the entrance is just a straight drop down. Like that doesn't seem like a tourist fucking area. Like the way they describe it, even from
like a level 2, whatever that means.
Oh, like even from Jump Street, all the descriptions is nothing like what they actually walk into.
Sure, but with you're with some of your best friends, your girlfriends who know this stuff really well are leading you.
Is this what the Donner Party felt like? Like, this guy, we trust these people. This will be fine. This will be fine.
I mean, I guess to some extent, yeah. You go along with it. Your friend's leading you. Like, yeah, I know where we're going. I went here. What is she said something about going there like the week before, the day before, already mapped it out, scouted it out. Like, all right. And they do make the remark. So yeah, they hike through the woods. They find like a dead elk or deer, some giant. and antlered creature.
Maggoty face.
A good old maggoty face. Then they make it to the site, which is like this big old hole in the ground where we get a good line of, I'm an English teacher, not fucking Tomb Raider. Because, yeah, that's where you bring it up, that they have to set up all these ropes and fucking do a pretty sweet rappel into this giant cavern.
Tomb Raider was probably a pretty sweet topical reference at the time.
Yeah. Now, I like this part because we're finally getting into it, but we're setting up our first of many beautiful the cavernous set pieces here. Like, I thought this...
Oh,
great.
With the light coming down and the ferns and the water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
They get everything ready. They're in the hole. Juno goes first and everyone else is soon after. And then we get a nice little bat jump scare.
Oh, yeah.
And
bat.
I pediddled a little when that first time.
Yeah, that gotcha.
It was just it was a small spritz, but it was still got me.
Warning.
Yep.
Diaper warning.
I knew when I saw that bat that it had sex with a bald guy, and that's what happened. I knew it. The minute I saw that bat, I was like,
immediately where this
you
was heading.
Fornicating bat.
If you pause the
down
film
there
at the right moment, it's just a bunch of Vin Diesel's heads photoshopped onto all those bats.
Nice.
Because
be sure to post that in the Discord. We'll get the still and we'll post that in the Discord.
Because they have a feeding for blood and family.
And family.
Yeah. That's what these balds do down there. That's what you get when you get a group of them. They're called balds. And they just talk about family. Family.
So now we found that there's only one way out of the chamber, and it's down the pipe, as they say. And this is where we start working our way through some tunnels, eventually making their way into another big cavern. Yeah. You already feeling that tight feeling?
The first crawl through a little tunnel, I'm like, no.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say I watch them regularly, but they're like the GoPro cave diving type stuff. I've seen a bunch of them, and I actually started when we did that creepypasta back in the day. What was the
Ted the Caver?
The Caver.
Ted.
Literally, I was like,
I
remember that. Oh my god! So after doing Ted the Caver episode, I started watching all of these GoPro ones, and I'm fine with descending and going through caverns and all this kind of shit. And the second you get to, you have 2.5 inches left, right, above, and below you, and you have to worm your way through into extra pockets. That's immediately where I'm like, I no way. I will try to scale the fucking opening of this this. There's no way I'm going past that.
Yeah, certainly. That's tough. I mean, I've definitely watched those as well, which made me think about some of those shots in the tight places I've seen them get through, and the ones where they're wiggling through water and they only have an inch of air that they can breathe. That shit. I think I wanted to see just a little bit more of I don't know, the loss of air type of thing.
Yeah.
Play into it. That would have really constrained my feeling in it. That may have been too much for Sam or something. One
of those entrances that you have to you go through the middle of it, you submerge in water and have to be underwater for a solid minute and then pop back out. That kind of caving system would be
yeah, that shit's nuts. 'Cause there's plenty of water in here, but they do make their way in there and they get into this, I don't know, big cavern where they set off some cool red flares and make it all moody. And it's completely pitch black in there. Yeah, now we're at the point where everything's going to be pitch black unless, they're giving off light.
Confusing as shit.
Indeed. It is very hard to tell who is who.
Yeah. At this point in the film, it is, guess what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because they all have, at a minimum, just have different colored helmets, which they kind of do, but they don't. You know what I mean? So everybody's got the same goddamn helmet on and they're all running around. And shy of tight shots, I have no idea who the fucking who's falling, who's repelling, who's having to go first.
The only one I could tell a difference with was the girl with the short hair. So that's why I liked her. Because that's the only one I could tell apart.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It depends on what's going on.
Whoever
you can get lost in the scene a little bit.
Sarah's sister, what's her name? Rebecca. She was so much taller than everybody else. I could always tell who she was.
I feel like I could pick out her accent as well, whatever it was, versus the other people.
Yeah, because hers even seemed more unusual. They're both Scottish, right? But for hers sounded, I don't know, strange to me.
So
Sarah's Scottish, right?
Good question. I couldn't tell you.
Fair.
I'm just waiting for Taylor's accent impressions.
I'm not doing that. I'm not punching down.
That's just being
Sam loves to do that.
Scottish or whatever.
Sam has a really good Cajun one. He likes to.
I'm hanging out with the nightclub so much.
Nightclub like that one when I do that right there. Nightclub go, oh, listen to him there when he sound like that there. Going down to the Walmart.
I picked up a really good Kentucky one, but I'm not going to do it.
It's like I'm sitting next to Gambit right now.
That's right, Cher.
Oh, you just rock Sam's cockles. Yeah. I think that's where his love of Cajuns kind of originated, was Gambit.
I thought it was like T-Boo and Ricky.
Oh, no.
I met Gambit long before I met those boys.
Very true. All right, so
everyone's first Cajun is Gambit.
I think he's a lot of Cajun.
It's a good introduction, I gotta say. Yeah. Could be worse.
I said we did get a really beautiful shot here too of like the cave. There's like this one where they're like, I guess it's a wide shot in this cavernous cave where it's all red and you see like the various, like a person over on one side or like two of them up top, one down below. There's like a view of all of them within the system, which is pretty cool. And I think there's a lot of good fun camera and cinematography. The way these are all built.
Yeah, exactly. The way they're able to, I mean, it makes so much more sense to build it on a set just in terms of building a picture. Like,
yeah, then you can actually do something creative with your filming of it as opposed to being so fucking narrowed by an actual cave.
Narrowed by a cave.
That'd be so ridiculous. And then at this point here, we also see that, or we hear Sarah hears her daughter laughing again or something. So she follows that sound, which leads to some dripping water. And as she walks away, like Juno jumps down to give us a fucking jump scare. Like, fuck you, Juno. What the hell are you doing?
I hate Juno so much.
Right? Like, I get it. You're fucking cool and extreme. You jump around everywhere. But like, if we're in a cave together, I don't know. I wouldn't do this to you guys. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, and also she's the one telling Holly like, hey, cool it. We need to be serious.
Yeah. But Juno's just checking on Sarah, asking if she's okay. Sorry, I didn't stick around longer. Sarah didn't really want to deal with this, so she wanders off. She's like trying to like build some sort of...
When she tells her like, sorry, I didn't stay around longer. And then she's kind of, whatever, and wanders off. It's tight on them, and then it goes back to the wide shop and realize like, oh, everybody's right there just like snacking. So everybody would have heard that. I mean, they're in a cave. What else are they gonna hear?
Sorry, I banged your husband. Sorry, I didn't stick around.
Sorry. Should we go somewhere more private? So she's like, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit. But she finds the next passageway out of there where they're heading off to next. So this is where we get our first like really tight crawl scene. So Sam's already been out. Anybody else crawling in here like this? I'm not. I don't think
I wouldn't fit there.
No, there's no way. Like if you see, you see a hole that's that big and you're gonna crawl into it. Like I immediately,
you're like, I want to wiggle through that.
Because then, like, how do you get out of it if you have to go all the way through to go all the way back? Because you're not. There's no reverse.
Exactly.
You got to go all the way through.
Crawl backwards. Yeah.
Like I've seen childbirth before. I don't know which surprised me more.
Yeah, I don't want a childbirth as an adult. I don't want to do that.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. She's like, yeah, I know you lost your husband and your baby, but what if we just like kept crawling through tunnels into open spaces?
It's the excuse. You know what the medicine for no child and no baby, no husband is? Caves.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna be reborn.
Tight spaces. Don't you want to feel miles of earth on top of you?
The doctor didn't even give her like a prescription and just a paper that says caves. This is what you need to get
past a headlamp.
Ooh, yeah. Here's your prescription. So we get to this point. Yeah, we're fucking cramming our way through. Juno makes it. And Rebecca at this point also makes a comment to Juno how it's not how she imagined it from reading the book. And Juno says something like, that's why I don't like books. Leaves too much for room for interpretation.
It's like, this lion.
Is it though?
Now at this point, okay, let's say we're all open to the idea of spelunking together. If we're all spelunking together and whoever's leading the charge is going off on this, I don't know if I'm going to crawl down the small hole.
Yeah.
Like I've already opened, let's say I know we're doing the small hole. It's been a traveled small hole and I've signed on for the small hole. But like, if it's not as the way it's supposed to be in the book, I don't think I'm going on. I'm sorry, guys. I love you. I'm not going into your unnamed
especially
hole.
an undiscovered cave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no map. There's no like blueprint.
What's going on at that point? You know what I mean? Like,
luckily, I think for all of us, if we showed up and saw the big hole we had to rappel down, I think we'd be like, I guess we're not exploring these caves.
Guess we're going to Texas Roadhouse.
If we had the gear and we were prepared to, I think I would go down the big hole, but I don't know if I go past the big hole, if that makes sense. Like if we're hiking out somewhere with gear, then I think we can go down the hole. If that's up to you guys, I'll go in the hole. You can stay up top.
What if a bunch of pranksters run up and throw your ropes in?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, dude, original pranksters. I'm not doing that.
You just got caved.
Well, whatever. We're not going in any holes, so it's fine.
And Ashton Kutcher pops out of the bushes.
Gosh, so good.
Now we're all
Jamie
fucked.
Kennedy's there too. We get doubled. We get X'd.
Justin Bieber's the bald guy.
I agree with you, Brian. I mean, like, there's a certain point, especially in the group consensus, where it's like beyond anything that they've read, and they're just going like, "This doesn't okay." Now I want you to squirrel your way through this little hole. You know what I mean? You're just like, And
also, especially if these people are experienced, anything being off should be like an immediate, like, wait a second.
Yeah. Especially the one that, like,
but I guess some of them aren't. The most experienced is the one leading, right?
Yeah.
Yes, her and probably maybe Holly, but Juno, I guess, technically is. She's the leader of it. They make their way through. We get all this kind of stuff. At one point, we do get like a rumble. The earth does a little rumbling. And you're like, uh-oh. That's a little... Uh-oh.
A little sus.
That could be a problem.
This is just the first initial... Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing happens from it. So then it's when ultimately Sarah, because she's going last. I think I believe it's Sarah that goes last, because at this point I still really couldn't tell, but then we get confirmation it's her. Yeah. And she also hears what sounds like laughter again, I think. And then she starts making her way through the hole, and then she gets stuck, and is just
children's laughter.
Right. It sounds different. And I think I put in my notes too, because I was watching the subtitles. Anytime her daughter laughed, it said like daughter's laughter, but at this one it just said laughter. So I don't know if it's supposed to be
interesting,
different.
Yeah. I'm sure sound design wise, there are some subtle differences.
It seemed like it.
If we played them next to each other.
We'll play those laughters back to back.
Dude, I had so much anxiety whenever she gets stuck. That's when my anxiety shot through the roof.
Yes, please.
And then like her getting...
They were the scariest parts of the film.
Hands down. Especially where it's like stuck. And because you can see all the stages where she's like stuck and then starts to panic and then starts to really fucking panic. And I just escalated with her. I was like, oh, that sucks. Oh, no, stop. Oh, God, stop. Get her out of there. Somebody get her out of there.
Well,
get yourself out of there.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say they make it seem like nothing, but it is a good idea that they got moving quickly.
Yes.
Because it does rumble and crush down.
They start. Yeah. Once who is it that comes down? Beth comes down, calms her down. It's like, listen, follow me. And she starts finally moving again. And there's like a shung, 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 shung. They're like, all right, we need to go now. Fuck the rope bag. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
She forgot the rope bag behind her. And they just haul us out of there, get there just in time before it collapses. And then you are like, I mean, that causes me more panic than getting stuck. I'm like, all right, if you can calm down, you can work your way out. But the exit collapsing is
also what a beautiful MacGuffin, like cave MacGuffin, as in like it's an experience. Is that like forcing the characters through the experience because there's absolutely no way back. You know what I mean? Like in a lot of horror movies, there are opportunities to like nope the fuck out of the house or get out of town or that like where these characters have to endure this because it's literally the only way they're going to survive it being in this cave.
Yeah, at this point, your only choice is to move forward.
Do they even know that there's a way out at this point, or are they just operating on the fact that they like Juno hasn't disclosed not having
that's this part, right?
Location. That's when all this. Next. Yeah, there's a little bit of chaos that happens here. Well, we get another birthday cake shot again, like this kind of like dreamy birthday cake shot, and then that leads into the chaos of the group and the regrouping. They find out like, yeah, everything's been closed off. They're stuck in there. But there's this whole, oh, don't worry. According to the guidebook, this system has 3 ways in and out. One of them mentions this was just one of them, right, Juno? Check the book, Juno. And we find out that she doesn't have the book.
Okay.
And then we find out she didn't bring it because, well, we're not even in those caves. It's a completely undiscovered system. And Juno just wanted them all to discover them together. So this is
classic Juno.
This is that feeling of,
this is one of the only unbelievable scenes where I feel as a group we would have just beaten Juno to death. Like,
oh yeah, she would have been down the hole.
Dude, I've been wanting to jump Juno since before they got in the cave.
Yeah.
You know when you throw a coin down a rock down a hole,
they do that. They should just jump.
That'd be a person.
Just throw
that'd be
Juno
Juno.
down there. Yeah, because this is just like just unbelievable. And like having the entire group being like, what the fuck? And then her just pushing past it because obviously she's the most experienced. Now all of their survival laurels depend on her with this hilarious, which is just a fucking Zippo and just trying to figure out where the current of the wind is going and then blindly kind of just like navigating.
Yeah. I mean,
what else are you going to do?
Exactly. That's pretty much the point she makes. And they got to push forward, move out of this chamber. This is the moment, I think it's Sarah, but I said one of the women is looking around the cavern with their flashlight and we get like a moment of like something like, I don't know if you've noticed it, but there is like a moment of someone like in the cavern and then she goes back to it and it's gone. So this is our first look at any sort of weird creature, spooky moment.
I thought I saw a man.
That happens. The part where she actually sees that happens up in a second, but this is just someone like up in like the caves. Beth is arguing with Juno.
I don't know if I did notice it.
Don't you know what Sarah's been through? Juno says something like, we all lost something in that crash. That's when she says that stupid line. Like, fuck
and
you.
you're like, oh, so you definitely were fucking that
exactly.
Dude. Like that's,
She doesn't say that to Sarah.
No. This is when we come to our next like big, I don't know, suspense moment. Our ledge to ledge, like crevasse scene.
Oh, when Rebecca has to go across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's doing like this, like, I don't know, like if you're doing like monkey bars or something, but it's the ceiling of a fucking cave where she has to like.
She is really grunting
and dig in.
This part semi confused me because they do this whole thing going across and each one of them kind of does that, but they also allude to the fact that they're using gear, those metal hook things that are they already one of them that's already in the rock,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was most of them. Okay, so it's just one of them.
It's like the last one. Yeah.
She's using these things that are called cams, and they're basically like if you were to squeeze the grips on it, it has this sort of
and it expands,
rotating devices that expand and collapse. So when you put it into a crack, the more weight you pull down on it, the more it pushes out against the sides, and that's what's holding you up there. So that's what she's using, putting those into place in the cracks as she goes along. It's when she gets to the end, she notices like this, I said, a man-made like hook object that's jammed into the rock is what she hooks onto there.
It's like it's made of iron or something.
Yeah. Old looking. And so she makes it over. She sets up another line so that they can like, you know, wiggle their way through and just kind of whatever it is, go through the gap, go over the gap. You know, just
that's the spelunking term. They wiggle across.
They wiggle across the gap. I think that's what they said.
So they all make it across, and then Juno unhooks the thing and is like, we need all the equipment we got. So she's gonna climb back across and take all the stuff back as she goes.
Yeah, and then this is where we see that she's also like removing the things as she goes, and like Sam said, grabbing the equipment. But the last thing that she got clipped onto breaks, and she falls, and Rebecca fucks her hands up, gets them all slit open from the rope. That's pretty
burn.
Gore.
That's
special
a gnarly
effects,
little shot.
Little shot.
Yeah, that was really good.
There's a lot of blood pumping out of that hand.
Yeah.
And even on the rewatch, I was like, oh, goddamn, oh, goo.
Yuck.
And I think Juno grabs that old piece of equipment and it mentions something like, this is like 100 years old. They don't use stuff like this for climbing anymore. Like,
yeah, right. That fucking line was amazing because it's that like, oh, wow, that means someone's been in this cave before. And he goes, there must be a way out. And then she goes, yeah, but if someone had actually gone through this cave, they would have already fucking named it. So it's actually kind of a worse sign that we're finding hiking climbing gear This is still undiscovered. That means they're fucking probably dead.
But this does take us to eventually to the cave painting. So we get like the cave painting scene, and like you could maybe deduce that these were cave people or something like that. But
Yeah.
this cave painting reveals that there's 2 entrances on the mountain. So there's another way in and out of the cave. They at least think based on what this painting says. So they need to fucking keep going. I think this is the point where fucking Holly's ready to go. She starts running off, busting forward, running through, and
She sees light. She's like, there's
she thinks it's
daylight.
daylight.
Yeah.
That's the lady that starts yelling for no reason, right? Like,
No,
like running down the
probably.
halls
She was
of the
just-
cave.
yeah.
And they're like,
going for
stop
it.
fucking what
Yeah.
the shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like,
She was very not
oh my
annoying.
God. Like this whole thing, this entire sequence really fucking frustrated me because like shy of or like our guide into the shit, like she's supposed to be the most trained out of like second most trained out of pretty much the group, and for her to just be running full bore in pitch darkness is like such an insane thing for someone who's supposed to be that trained.
Well, I don't know how trained she is in spelunking. She seems like she's supposed to be like Juno's protege or something. So,
Oh, okay.
but Juno only kind of recently got
She
into
already
spelunking.
showed off after she was told
She was
not
really
to
into
when she
base
jumped
jumping.
down.
I think this is just like a new venture
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. I mean, technically she does do a little base jumping. I mean, like
She
there's
does.
no shoot and she just falls.
Base falling.
Base falling.
Yeah, she gets boned real good because she falls when she's searching
she
for that
does.
light, and we get a fucking gnarly ass bone popping
This is
out of her
really
shin.
good.
Compound fracture.
How do y'all feel
I-
about that? Yeah.
I
she
love
do
when
that to
she
someone,
starts
Colby?
to try and look.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
I love when she starts to like try and look at it and just like moves her like pants just a little bit with her bones poking out. It just moves the bone just a little and it's like unbearable. She falls back. I'm like, you feel it, you know?
Come on, feel it.
That was that was really fucking that was a little.
Another thing I can't do is fingernails, and you see that a few times in this movie when people get dragged. I cannot do fingernails.
Oh yeah.
That's a good. Yeah, I did notice that, especially towards one of the ones later, but just like a.
It hurts my
pump off
fingers
of a
talking about it
fingernail.
right now, dude.
Oh, sorry. We'll save it for later.
And this is coming from somebody who broke a guy's leg in 2 pieces, threw one of them into the crowd.
It's like, ooh, he threw one of them into the crowd. Yeah, dude. Fucking metal as shit. But fingernails. I get it, man. So the rest of the women make their way down, immediately go into action, performing first aid. And Sarah hears her daughter's laughter again. So she goes and wanders off. This is when Sarah finds this like old ass helmet, I think. While the rest of them are
Yeah.
splinting Holly's leg, which is real gnarly. They're like, I'm sorry, this is going to suck, but we got to splint
Just
it.
shove it back in.
Gotta shove it back in there.
Shove it back together. And it is not easy to do. You'd think
It takes him a few
that
tries.
broken, it wouldn't be that hard, but
Yeah.
Oh,
lot
sorry.
of
Hold, let me
effort.
do that again. Oh, sorry. Hold, let me do
Hold
that
on,
again.
I need to
Oh,
pull
all right.
down and then in and then crank it into place.
Fuck.
Seventh
Yes.
time's a charm. Just give me a chance.
Where else are
maybe
you
if
going
we
to
just wiggle it off and try and put it back on.
go?
Stop overreacting. Why are you yelling in British? Stop it.
So this was an awesome scene and like really starting to. I like how it's slowly ticking up the action and the gore and what's going on. I mean, we built so much suspense with like those tight scenes that like now we're gonna get sprinkled some more stuff. So Sarah puts down this helmet because she starts hearing these like odd gurgling, growling, squelching, kind of predator-esque noises, and then this is when she shines her down like this watery passage and sees this pale-looking humanoid creature just slurping on some water. What did you guys think when you first? I guess this is our first real look at the first.
To be totally
Yeah.
honest with you, I immediately was like, oh, it's vampires. Legit.
Oh,
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, this is kind of what I expected, like
Yeah.
no buy no baddie guy.
Yeah, I thought some sort of bat creature right away.
Yeah.
I had hair at the time, so I did not know that it was a foreshadowing to my future as an adult. I was very upset that I grew up to be. This is a full circle moment where I've self-realized that I am that creature. That creature is me.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's karma because when you saw it in theaters, you pointed and laughed and said he's
I was
bald.
like,
so
there's no way my mom banged that creature and then crawled out of that cave, but she did. She did.
Rated.
So as she's trying
It looked
to
like Vin Diesel.
It's true. I mean, taller though. Like he got a couple inches. Isn't he short? I think.
I hear he's a little fella. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like ginormous. Anyway. You're so big, bro. We see this like creepy shot, and the thing like looks up and then jumps away, and Sarah turns back, and we get another Juno jump scare of her popping and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Sailor's like, "Hey, I definitely saw something down there," and she's like, "Your mind's just playing tricks on you. You didn't see anything," and she's like, "No, I fucking saw something. It was this weird human dude, like slurping on some water, bro. Like this isn't like normal. I know what I saw." But they continue on, because what else are you going to do? Eventually making their way to another cavern. This is when we get one of them pulling out their video camera, and we get some good old infrared vision brought into the
I like that you can, it's a legit way of introducing found footage aspects to this, with like night vision and kind of like the shaky cam and shit like that, but still basing it in, it still had my suspenders of disbelief firmly on. You know what I mean? Because it didn't feel like it was a good juxtaposition. Like I didn't feel like I was like pulled out of the movie just to do a fucking camera bit and then back out. You know what I mean? Like it seemed very organic to kind of have those elements.
They need to see.
Start getting introduced. Yeah.
They need to
It felt complimentary to the film rather than like detrimental, and I kind of felt that as well.
Oh, totally. 100%.
Yeah, perfect way to put it.
Great jump scare.
Because then once we get into this cavern, we get a really cool shot of like hundreds of animal bones like strewn throughout everywhere that they're basically on top of. We're not quite into a gore pit yet. This is like a more like all the bones look cleaned.
Bone pit.
Yes. They look pretty dry.
They're just in the kitchen at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
The lights just went out.
Yeah.
Then they open it up, and there they are. But this is where we finally get some good creature time, and I said a lot happens here. And a lot certainly does, because this is where things kick off into our...
So how many times did you have to rewind this to see what happened to each character? Because it was four for me. It was fucking 4, because it's like... I had no idea what was going on with anybody in this.
Me neither. I assume I'll catch up to it as time goes on, and I did. Or you know what I mean? I'm like, I'll just keep watching and I'll know.
I couldn't tell who was getting attacked.
Yeah, I did play it back a few times, but I did also watch it on it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So I was watching it on there, and they have, I don't know what, the X-ray view, so you can just like hover over it and it'll tell you which actor is in like the scene that's right there. So that kind of told me who I was looking at sometimes.
Back in 2005 in the movie theater, I didn't know shit. I was like, who is that? What? I had to go see it again just to what? It takes 2 watches to watch it once in 2005.
And do you think that's because of the darkness, or because the cameras are so shaky during the attacks that it's like, and the cuts are so quick? I think to me that's
I like a blend of the two.
I think it's a blend of all of that, and then it's all, I mean, realistically, all the characters look very similar, wearing very similar equipment and clothing and gear. That's
why I like the short hair girl, because it's the only one I could tell apart.
Right.
I was like, I like her.
Okay, so within this scene, the creature scares the shit out of everyone, and they pretty much start scattering. Holly gets attacked by one of the creatures, which is like biting into her throat and like rips her throat out, more or less.
Nar.
Juno comes to help Holly, but the creature wants Holly, so they have a little fight over Holly's
body.
Still probably life.
There's some life in there. Yeah, she like is gripping Juno's hand.
Not quite a husk, but approaching husk.
Approaching husk. Quickly approaching husk territory.
Approaching husk.
The creature then like screeches, calling in another creature to attack Juno. They tussle a bit until Juno's able to kill the creature with one of her ice axes, and just as she kills it, she hears another creeping up behind her, so she fucking turns around, swings, and slams the ice axe right into Beth's throat.
Oopsie poopsie.
I didn't necessarily see this coming, but I was like, whoa.
I did not see it coming.
I was like, I thought it was great and surprising, and the fact that it was Beth too, because I thought Beth was a higher character.
Absolutely.
I thought we were gonna get her slamming it into someone else first or something.
It was everybody.
Seemed like a Sam or Rebecca.
Beth's face and Juno's face was my face when that happened. It was just this like, oh
yeah.
Go fuck.
If that isn't brutal enough though, fucking Juno leaves Beth to die alone as Beth's like, stay with me, help me. Like, don't leave me.
I'm not dead
She's
yet.
like, nah, bro.
I'm not quite dead yet.
feel healthy.
Juno's the best.
She's
Real
the
piece of
fucking
work.
Juno's just like, all my friends are dead. Like, she's just running around, dude.
She's like, Beth knew about my problem. That takes care of one issue there. Like,
Beth does steal Juno's necklace as she bleeds out or appears
falling
to die.
down or something. She's like
Yeah.
falling and she grabs and snags that as she falls and hits the ground.
What does it say? Live life or something?
Oh,
like
that's the fucking worst.
Live, laugh,
love
love.
each day.
Not
Live,
really.
laugh,
Live,
limp
laugh,
bizkit.
limp biscuit.
Live,
Some
laugh, limp biscuit.
Something stupid that somebody's like having an affair gives to their adulteress.
So I forgot about this.
It was a gold encrusted nookie cookie.
Pazuki.
Pazuki cookie.
Pazuki cookie.
Pazuki.
Nookie Pazuki?
Nookie Pazuki. Yeah, that's
A
it.
nookie Pazuki?
We got there.
Zoom tight.
I forgot that was
Snickerdoodle?
written on the back of the
Snickerdoodle.
little feather pennant because when I thought that was so lame in the beginning, it was one of the only things I didn't like during the character development where they're all like laughing and having fun, and Sarah's like, "Love each day." Oh, sorry, it's just something Paul used to say, and they're all like, I'm like, also it's
And
like
we got
the
that at the
fucking
end.
lamest thing too. Like,
Yeah.
Paul's pretty
Yeah.
fucking lame, so I
That's
feel like he
true.
would say that and put it on a fucking stupid thing that he gives to his mistress.
he uses it for every girl he sleeps with.
Yeah, right? Oh my god.
Do you know how much of a fucking Chad? Not the Chads that we're dealing
Not
with.
the
this
Chads
movie,
in here.
But not the Chads in here. To fucking have that as your goddamn catchphrase slogan and then not be original enough to fucking have a second catchphrase for your mistress. Like, that's hilarious. Whereas, like, listen, I know I say this shit all the time, but I got this on a fucking feather.
He was going to go the it wasn't me route, I feel like.
Oh,
Shaggy.
As controversial as it may sound, Paul was asking for it. He deserved the rebar. He was asking for the rebar. He's got rebar personality. He admits, I need
super.
rebar.
His daughter was collateral,
Yes.
but that he was, I think if it wasn't the rebarb, he would have been Final Destination somewhere
Big
else.
rebar energy.
Somehow.
He probably
Nothing's
got a
coming.
vaccine and was magnetic. That was probably the issue.
We now find out that Sam and Rebecca are together. A creature is just chilling above them as they're like going through. I don't know what. I guess he can't see. He wants to wait to get them. He can hear them, right? These things are supposed to be able to hear things really well.
You would think.
Why wouldn't
yeah.
he be able to hear them moving? But he's just chilling. He's waiting. I mean, it's a cool shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then we get another dream shot of Jessica, and we get this mummy, if you're really ready. Creature scare as like the daughter turns her head around, and it's one of these, I don't know, little vampire guys.
Yeah.
Golems.
Sarah wakes up again. Camcorder is lying near her. She picks it up and looks around the room, and this is where there's like human skeletons now mixed within
Oh, yeah.
all the other bone goo. She hears a creature and tries to hide a little bit, and then bam, body drops down. It's Holly,
Dude,
and it's dinner time.
this shot when she's holding the camera and just watching Holly just get devoured is insane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and
So
trying to like
brutal.
stay silent while it's happening in front of her.
Yep.
And the sound.
and
It looked like red water.
Yeah, it's just that it's almost like a hose underneath the fucking critters.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
Holly's blood. It's like it's like they're eating a waterbed. It's just like just splurting all over the place.
Yeah, they
They're just
fucking go.
completely taking advantage of the all-you-can-eat sign that's above the restaurant. It's just like, can you not? It's just gross.
Well, it gets so gross that she gags, and one of them stops, and just that.
This is a fucking Golden Corral. You thought it was a Buffalo Wild Wings. We're actually at Golden Corral.
Yeah,
The humanity. It's literally juxtaposed next to one another, and you're like, the cave and Golden Corral might be the same place.
I think it is
We're
the
at
same place.
here.
It might be the same place where humanity goes to die.
I think this is a point too where among the bones we see a wolf's head, which
Yes.
is one of the ones from one of the werewolves from Dog Soldiers.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
That I didn't notice.
What?
I didn't
That's
notice that.
awesome.
You know what? I might watch this again after this.
There's
Just
Dog
for
Soldier
that.
fucking Easter eggs. Goddamn,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he makes it in
One of
there.
my favorite movies.
so good.
Then
Dog
we get
Soldier Easter
meanwhile
eggs. That's
Dog Soldier Easter eggs. Sam and Rebecca still trying to find their way around, and they like hide in this like little crevasse, like they wiggle in there and hug up and get real quiet and close
shot
together.
Super cool shot.
Again, this movie's littered with them.
It was like intimate too.
Yes, very intimate, very like.
Aren't they like bathed in like it's like green glow stick light?
Yeah,
I love the different colors of the shots in this, like with the red, the green.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
There's a point I have it in my notes somewhere where each of the like people and while we're moving through 3 different scenes has like a different light source, where Juno has like a lighter, while we get the people with the green glowy, and then we get, I think, Sarah with her camcorder of the infrared of like each doing a different thing. I thought was really cool. But they're chilling, and this is when we, I think, cut back to that was my note literally right here about the light changes. But then with Sam and Rebecca, the creature kind of crawls over them, and then suddenly her alarm or something on her watch goes off. Yeah, and well, we know that's a problem.
Oh fuck! Oh god, her fiddling for that while this thing's like gunning back towards him was huge tension.
The part with that made me think of my cat, because like when it's like nose is getting close to it and the nose like sets it off and it like jumped like a cat.
Oh yeah.
Like,
very animalistic.
Yes, it like pokes it down. During this too, at one point, Sarah, you mentioned we're watching. She's like watching the fucking feast, and she gags a little, and this causes one of the creature to like go right up into the camera, doing like a little gurgly
sniffing
display, which is pretty cool. Gets you a little fun, creepy shot of the creature right in there.
It's very batty at that point too, because it's like kind of making noise and listening around, moving its head, noise, listen.
Precisely. And then like Juno is screaming off in the distance for Sarah, and that causes the creature to run off. But back with Sam and Rebecca, the creature crawled away, and they figure out that they can't see. They're like, oh, it's all based on, the sound and everything. That's when the alarm goes off, and then Juno's continuing to scream for everyone. Sarah finds an old lantern or something and removes the ice axe that was splinting Holly's leg, grabs some fabric from like around her neck, and like makes this sort of makeshift torch.
Yeah.
As she figures out, she's like, this is where she's really in the gore pit. This is when we start getting, there's some blood and guts and stuff left on the bones as she's like moving her way through.
And this shot is so cool. The wide shot of it's almost looks like side scroller of like a side scroller video game of her going across. Looks dope as hell.
Yeah, I really like it, just and like her descending more into the gore. Meanwhile, Rebecca and Sam are making their way through a passageway, and Rebecca fights a creature that pops down from the ceiling like 50 Cent. We get
it does, yeah.
The creature like gets the upper hand, is about to take a big old chomp into Rebecca when an ice axe flies through the air and into the creature, and out pops fucking Juno, and creature screaming. Juno walks up and snaps its neck.
Like shit.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
she's holding it down.
She's a bit of a badass.
All right, Juno.
Apparently, she also takes martial arts lessons.
She's just an extreme thrill seeker, man. She knows it all.
Goes to exotic countries and kills people.
Yeah, she's done a few kumites in her time.
Juno tells them they took Holly, and Beth is dead. Juno also asks, "What the hell are these things? We need to figure out what they're fighting. They're blind. They use sound. They're like a bat." But more importantly, they seem to go to the surface to hunt and bring their food back down here to eat. So there must be another entrance somewhere in and out of here. Juno has found some markings she believes will lead them out.
Imagine dragging dragging animals through those little tunnels. Yeah, no wonder they left that deer out there. They're like, this is fucking too big. Let's just munch for a minute and get out of here.
Especially if you're fucking blind.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, these things for like, I don't know. I feel like for as much as they apparently, I guess, go to the surface, I feel like they're too cave dwelly. They wouldn't be as cave dwelly, right? You'd retain some sort of level of...
Yeah, they'd still...
Yeah.
You would think.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I haven't met any people that have lived underground for hundreds of years. So, all right. So we're trying to get out of here. Juno knows a way out according to some markings. Sarah is still working her way through the gore pit when a gasp rings through the silence and exclaims, "Sarah, it's Beth." Surprise. She ain't doing too well though. But Beth is able to tell Sarah, stay away from Juno. She's fucking bad news. She left her there to die.
Juno did this.
She fucking put this hole in my throat, basically. Don't trust her. Find your own way out. Sarah's not really believing it until Beth gives that little feather pendant.
That fucking
She
live,
ripped
laugh,
off Juno.
love.
What reason does she have not to believe her though? Like, I mean, I understand
couldn't
it's
tell ya.
hard to like wrap your head around, but like she almost seems to be like, "Are you sure?" That doesn't sound
You are
right.
dying. You might not be right about this. Well, the necklace is all it took to make them, believe it or whatever. So
Love each day.
creature making noise as they're coming closer. Beth tells Sarah to run, but not to leave her like this. God damn, Beth. Sarah, she's like, you can't leave me. You gotta kill me. I need you to kill me.
Yeah.
Could you do it?
It's a heavy thing to ask, but Sarah eventually agrees and fucking rocks Beth's world.
Yep. She gets stoned.
My throat's like missing. I'm bleeding out, and I need one of you guys to smash my head with a big old rock. Can you do it?
I want to smell what it's cooking. Let me have it.
Have it. I'd help. I would do it. I'd help you out.
All right, Ross will do it.
I don't think I could.
I'd probably have you record that you told me to do this.
Sam, real quick. I'm
ready for Ross to do this. And then I'd be like, all right, love you, bro.
Great. Close your eyes.
Colby, you wouldn't even have to be that hurt. If you wanted me to hit you with a rock, I might do it.
I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that.
You could have like a hangnail, and I'd be like, "No, man, you need me to hit you in the head with this rock, dude. You're not gonna."
I need you to
fine."
put me out of my misery.
So you're just gonna WebMD it. He has a splitter. I
Yeah.
have to cave your skull in. I'm sorry.
Do you have staff now, dude? I gotta beat you to death.
Yeah.
The creatures make a noise. They're coming closer. She runs away. Head smash. Sarah's taking her breath, but then we get a good jump scare as a creature kind of jumps on her back, screeching and wilding out, but she's able to
It's like
knock
a
it
little
off.
kid
and then,
one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see, obviously, but then we get a little bit better shot of it, and she stomps the shit out of that thing real quick.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
she
oh
does.
yeah, it's definitely a kid. She beat the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you guys think the jump scares in this were overdone, or did you like them?
I think at a certain point I was like ready for the next one.
maybe some of the earlier ones were overdone, I think. Some of the earlier ones with Juno,
Yeah.
but I like some of these later ones.
Yeah, the only one that really stands out, I mean, I know it has a bunch of them. It never stood out to me as overdone or just right, I guess. But the one I really love is the one when we first see the creatures with the camera in the lair and they're moving around, and all of a sudden there's that one, which is Ross's background, just standing there behind one of them.
In my theater experience, I think every single one of them got me.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were in the theater. At least they're very effective.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Sure.
I was terrified.
I didn't think it was enough to be like, okay, God damn it, stop it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we've all seen the movie with like 1,000 jump scares where you're like, just fucking cut it out. God damn it.
Well, because I
Yeah.
think there's more than just the jump scare. I think it does a good job
Totally.
of pacing with some other elements in there that the jump scares feel well deserved, as
Yeah.
opposed to just like that's all it is. Like,
And it doesn't feel like it's just building towards a jump scare.
mhm.
Yeah.
They jump in.
Yeah, but then this is when we definitely learned that it was a child creature because Mama's coming through and finds her dead kid, and she's mad.
Yeah.
She's swinging her way
Not
through.
happy.
Sarah runs away, promptly falling into the gooey bottom of the gore pit. Just a big old pool of blood down there, kind of sitting at the bottom. And this is when we get
It's
some
like
of the
fucking front row at a gore show. Like it is just a fucking lagoon of gore.
yeah. And we get some beautiful shots of her like slowly raising up through the gooey, bloody gore, then next her body. And then I love how like Mama very creepily and quietly kind of comes out of the water and just pops up and jumps on and attacks Sarah. That whole fight's just a big fun tussle where Sarah grabs an antler that's like hanging on this, like, I don't know, rock or whatever, and stabs that into Mama's eye,
Mhm.
taking care of her.
There's a lot of eye gouging.
I love this sequence. I love the gore pit. This whole part is
Beautiful.
I thought the eye gouging was pretty pointless when she eye gouged the monsters. Like they already can't fucking see.
Yeah, right. We blind this
Insult
blind
to
thing.
injury.
Yeah, right.
Just
Insult
piss
to
it
injury.
off.
It's the softest point to the brain, right?
still
If
gets
you-
you to the brain, right?
Yeah. Quickest way to the brain. That's what I say.
It looked like she had short thumbs though.
I
Well,
didn't.
I mean, if you really put your weight into it, you can work your way.
I mean, I think.
I mean, if your thumbs aren't long
You gotta
enough
put
to
your
get
back
back
into
to
it?
a brain, you got really fucking short thumbs.
I'm gonna test it on a cantaloupe later.
Oh,
I'm curious. Yeah. Well, I'd
You're
love to see the results.
just making a hole into a cantaloupe for another experiment. I know you.
You're starting with the thumb. We'll see where it leads to.
Like, good luck, Chuck.
Yeah.
The thumb is an equal circumference. I know you. I know you too well.
It all matches up. So she's kind of like chilling on this rock and goes real still because this big guy kind of pops up behind Sarah and like crawls and like stands on top of her. This is one of my problems with the film is when he puts his hand on her head. I'm like, for a creature that's so adept at knowing everything in the dark, he would know that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought that crossed my mind too during that scene.
I think it would just been more effective if he was that close.
I just always assumed he thought it was a dead body. But even then, I would be like, they're all like they all have the munchies. So like when there's a gore,
and their sense of smell, like I'm sure they can smell
she
it's
is
alive or
coated
dead.
in gore. She was just in that like blood pit.
That blood
to be
pit.
totally honest with you, with that amount of terror, claustrophobia, and now monsters, there would probably be the overwhelming smell of doo-doo because I would have shit myself about halfway through this experience.
I'm sure the smell down there is
part 2.
There's no way it could smell worse than that space. Yeah.
Oh, she's also been dunked in gore. It's almost like it's like Predator. Right. It's like instead of mud, it's just gore viscera.
I think the smell of a fresh doo-doo would probably be welcomed within the smells of this room.
Yeah, right.
I would go with it.
Be like,
true.
oh, that's
They
familiar.
capitalized that on number 2, as Taylor said.
Oh, great.
Ooh, the guano sequel.
It's another shot that I love is when she first hears it and just like gets down, pressed up a rock, and you start seeing him like climb over.
Mm-hmm.
She's lit up and you just see her blue eyes white with her whole body covered in that gore. Pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's great. And so he crawls over her, and this is when she fucking picks up a big old bone and beats the shit out of him, smashes the hell out of his head. Thwumps him good, and then she fucking lets out a primal scream. Then this takes us back to Juno, Sam, and Rebecca. Sam, there's a whole bunch of mess that happens here, causing them to run by all the creatures coming, and it brings them back to that like gap area again. This is where Sam hangs in the gap and like, I don't know, like hooks herself up in the middle of it to hang out there and try to get away, I guess. I don't know. She's just trying to get away. Sure. Shit's going down.
Yeah.
But surprise, there's a creature there that, I don't know, bites at her, slits her neck. But as she's
tears her throat
dying,
open.
She's able to stab it. So it falls down, but then her fucking body is just
hangs
like
there.
I love
that's a really cool
the shot that as the camera turning so it looks like upside down is right side up. That was fucking, that entire sequence of that attack is so fucking cool.
And then she's just left there hanging upside down, bleeding out, and
they're just staring at her. Pretty fucked up.
Juno and Rebecca are watching this, and Rebecca is absolutely gutted by this, we'll say.
Yes.
She essentially like the creatures come up, grab a hold of her, and just like start chewing into her guts.
Going to town.
Taking care of business there. And moving on from that takes care of 2 characters real quick. Get them out of here because we're about to wrap things up. Juno jumps into the gap and takes a chance, and there's water below and lands down there. She climbs up, and just as if she's like about to fall or something, Sarah grabs her, saves her from falling.
The creature that fell in earlier is also in the water too, and like grabs at her, and she pulls the knife out and stabs.
That was the only time where literally she fucking dives to that water, and I'm like, oh, that motherfucker's gonna wake up. Like, I know that. Like, they have.
I was like, what were you doing beforehand? It's chilling.
I did think that water fight scene was pretty cool, though.
It was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good, like everything.
Yeah,
right.
Everything in this movie looks great.
So when Sarah like pulls her into the thing, Juno's like, "What the hell happened to you?" Because she's obviously covered in a lot of blood and gore,
looking pretty messy.
And then Sarah's like, "What did Rebecca make it? No." And then she asks what happened to Beth, and she's like, "She didn't make it either." And then Sarah looks and is like, "Did you see her die?" And Juno shakes her head. Yes, I totally saw her die. Yeah.
Girl, I'm gonna get you
that
later.
Just like confirms everything for Sarah. She's like, god damn it. So Sarah's like, all right, let's go. They start moving through more corridors. They're both like, they have some ice axes, some torches. They're ready to like take shit on. They make it to this big room where there we get like mildly big. There's just like 3 of these creatures just like chilling there, just like hanging out, waiting. I was like, that's fun. They're like ready,
watching,
and then watching, creeping and crawling, and then they start moving around, and then we get this big old fucking fight scene where we get more eye gouging and fucking ice axe slamming into heads and beat downs galore and blood flying.
Thumb pushing. I guess 2004 or 2005 was big eyeball pushing time because 28 Days Later came out right before this. That's what I always think of when I see that move.
Mm-hmm. That has a very good eye gouge.
Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit's playing in the background.
But this battle's fun, I said. It's a pretty fun, good, gory fight of kicking ass because they take care of business and take care of a lot of these creatures in here. And as the battle ends, we get a sort of moment between Sarah and Juno where Sarah grabs the ice axe, and it almost looks like she's about to do this swing around thing that Juno did before.
Yeah.
But doesn't. They both like stare at each other, and there's this pause and intense stare down. We hear creatures getting closer, screeching in the distance, and then suddenly Sarah like takes the axe, just slams it right into Juno's leg, backs away, condemning her to death pretty much.
I love that part so fucking much, and it was so satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it is satisfying, yes.
Well, because
justice for Juno,
right? Well, isn't it like just like right before that? She's holding the necklace. So like it's that recognition of like, oh, you fucking know.
Yeah, she lets it slip down from holding the axe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's do
I was not expecting that to happen when I was watching it. I don't know why, but I just, it's a portrayal in all these things, but I didn't expect her to just stab her and leave her for them to be gotten by the creatures.
Yeah.
It is.
Let's get out of here, and then
I love it though. I'm nothing wrong with it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So then she fucking starts getting away, crawling away, making her descent. Or not ascent, or trying to. The creatures all converge upon Juno, and Juno tries to have, like. She pulls the ice axe out of her leg, which is pretty sweet, and then goes and tries to fight these things off, but it doesn't really work. I guess we don't... Do we see her? They all converge on top of her, so I guess we assume she dies, right? Is that what happens? I don't know.
We don't get a confirmed kill.
We hear her scream off screen while Sarah's running away.
And then Sarah runs away. She trips and falls. And then kind of like wakes up in this bone pit again. And then there's a light kind of appears on her face, and we start seeing, and then she's like, oh shit, it's daylight. And we get this is again another cool like side scrolling shot, almost like you mentioned before, Sam, of her ascending this pile of
that
bones
shot is so
up the
rad.
light with just that beam of light going down upon her as she's climbing up the top, which is awesome. And she fucking breaks through. And she's like outside, and then she just starts hauling ass, which is great. It's fucking runs up, makes her way to the fucking truck. I just like the
scream right to the truck, scream right to the car. Like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, she beat the shit out of that Bronco more than OJ.
She's just full fucking force.
There's a note
just
in
all over.
That the escaped, the Bronco that she uses is... the director gave the drivers orders to do whatever they could to damage the vehicle, but he was unaware that Sam McCurdy, the director of photography, wanted to buy the vehicle after the shoot.
That's amazing. Nah, bro, just fuck it up.
So she's driving away in this thing, fucking hauling ass, going crazy, getting the fuck away. Then she just pulls off to the side of the road, vomits a little bit, starts crying and screaming and going off. She vomits. Looks back up, and then we get in her passenger seat. Ghost Juno. Yeah. Bleh.
Another goddamn Juno jump scare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to some eyes popping open and credits.
On my first watch, this little last Juno jump scare thing really took the wind out of my sails.
Right.
Yeah, it's...
And isn't there okay.
So, no, so okay.
All right.
So
Brian's got it all right here. Don't worry.
Perfect. Okay, good.
The American edit of the film ends with Sarah escaping from the cave and driving away, seeing Juno sitting in the car next to her. The UK version has a much bleaker ending, continuing with a short scene where Sarah wakes up at the bottom of the cave. So it's just after the part where she falls and hits her head and wakes up in the bone pit and starts the ascension with that like beam of light. She wakes up in that moment, and there's no beam of light there, and she's stuck in the cave still. What we saw of her escaping was only a dream, and the creatures, I guess we either hear them or we see them closing in on her. The finale was described as uber hopeless by American screening audiences. So the American audiences that screened this film hated it. And so that's why it got changed to what we saw.
Oh, okay.
Boo.
Personally, I like the UK ending better.
No, the UK ending.
So do
it's
I.
more effective.
I haven't seen it, and I like it better
And
too.
there's also a shot in the UK for this ending. There's another birthday cake scene shot, and this time instead of 5 candles, there's 6 candles on it, and there's more. There's a closing sense of that in the movie as well. So that's what you get there. I think it is a much better version, but yeah. So you saw the one on Tubi, I think. So I guess
Tubi had
in the US. We both have the US versions because I watched it on Prime or whatever.
Yeah, I watched it on Prime as well.
Dope. That's it. Any final thoughts before we get into the questions?
Going back to the UK ending, what I really liked is how you talked about with the birthday cake, but when it zooms out, it's actually just a stick on fire, which she's looking at.
It's just her torch.
Yep. Yeah, her torch.
That is cool.
Which is also makes you feel like at what point was the hallucination or not? Because didn't she lose that torch like before the
gore pit?
Yeah. So it's like it makes you it fucks with time and a bunch of other stuff where like, yeah, she could have just been hallucinating most of this shit. She's just alone in the dark by herself.
I don't know.
Could you fucking imagine if that's what they were trying to do?
You're like, oh my God.
I just can't believe. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say the UK ending makes more sense for the beginning of The Descent 2. Because I watched just the beginning of it to be like, how are they going to do this? And I was like, oh, all right. So they're just like ignoring the ending, I guess.
When she crawls out of the cave, when they like find her in that hole in the dirt and grass.
Where she crawls from, she's not in the Bronco.
Yeah. Right.
Speaking of Bronco, I I take umbrage with Colby bringing up the late and very innocent OJ. How dare you? Not controversial at all. Very just super nice guy. Just super
Team
nice.
Juno over here, innocent OJ. I see what we're doing. I got you. I got
Damn
you.
it, dude.
This guy is very manipulative.
All right, guys, we're gonna jump into a break real quick and then get over to our questions. All right, back into the crematorium questions. Starting off, are we surviving? Are we?
No fucking
I don't
way.
have the wherewithal.
We're not doing this.
Not
But
even
if we
close.
found our way, let's say we get stuck in a cave. Let's say we go into a level 1 cave that has stairs and it gets
And we
closed
get
off at
stuck.
the entrance.
No, we're not surviving. Fuck no.
I think we're screwed.
I don't know. I might be the guy that waits in the car and be like, just call me if you need any
Oh
help.
my God, yes.
Yeah.
See, I guess they did do things right. One of them did make the note that like, yeah, I let whoever know that we were going into these caverns, but that's not the caverns we're in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, letting someone know you go into a cave before
Right,
you go.
you're supposed to do that.
If you
Dude,
go
Juno
missing.
sucks so fucking bad.
She's such an asshole. Such an asshole. No, I think we're getting nuked.
Yeah, I just think it's like if we're all in a cave. And
I
this
mean, I don't
happens-
even know if we're getting to the creatures because we're probably just going to be stuck in whatever room
not gonna
we
go
got
deeper.
stuck in.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm falling.
Like somebody
during
will
the
have to
rappel
come
scene.
get us, right?
Like,
You're falling
as-
in the repel
as-
scene, you're just-
yeah, I'm not making it through the rappel scene. There's no way. I'm the first one that I'm like, I'll hit the bottom of the cave. I'll be like, it's a really long way down if you fall. Like I'll be yelling at you, like don't fall. It's a long way.
Black
This
Hawk
sucks.
Downing fucking our Descent movie.
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Oh my.
Don't recall it.
How old are you, Brian?
Old enough. I think
He's
Old enough. Why?
Old enough to party.
old enough. Old enough to party.
That was an awesome answer.
That
but
was not the
You haven't
answer.
seen Black Hawk Down, so I'm trying to like put that.
Yeah. You graduated 05. I graduated 04. So I think we're in the same
you're turning
range.
39.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
No, 38.
Okay.
I ain't Ross's age yet.
Oh shit.
I said you're turning 39, right?
Oh, did you? I don't know. Our connection.
Yes.
Our connection's bad, man. Oh no, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, bro.
That connection.
I'm going to the tunnel.
Going to the tunnel. Do you think you need to make a gooier? I don't think so.
Yeah. We have
No.
we have an actual fucking gore pit. Like, I think you're.
I thought the gore was perfect. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't too little. I thought it hit just right.
Yeah,
real Goldilocks zone.
We didn't get a baby. We didn't get to see the baby unalive, but I'm not mad about it because I don't know if I need that.
Unalive. This guy's on TikTok.
You listen to this fucking nerd.
I don't know if I need to see like baby splatter.
Yes.
You know what
Sure,
I mean, I was all right with the implication of. So yeah, I think the
absolutely.
gore's good.
I had a fever dream of a kid kebab, but I'm really glad they didn't actually show that.
Exactly. It was enough to make Ross imagine it.
Ross think he saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Villain level. So our Juno, one level, 1 to 10.
Yeah, dude.
No, our creatures here. That's going to be a power level and iconography. So 1 through 5 of each of those. Add those up. So it's power level of these monsters. What are you thinking here, Sam? Or Colby? Yes.
I was going to say,
all means.
one creature by itself, I think it'll fuck me up, but I think I can kill one creature by itself.
Oh, yeah.
But in numbers, they're like fucking piranha.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Totally.
They get on you.
And one creature by itself, I need to have a weapon, really, if I'm going to take it out. It seems like if you have a weapon, you're all right. Colby's weapons are his hands.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man, you can fucking grapple those. Like, yeah, they're not getting anything on you, but like, that is the thing too. If it is able to like jump in and get a quick bite or tear at something unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I say like a crawler by itself, I feel would be power level of like maybe 2.5. You know what I mean? Like it's got some skills, but also if you're armed, it's still humanoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How much does crawling on the ceiling really get you in terms of beyond one?
Unless you're dancing on the ceiling.
Point. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A little Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
Richie Lionel.
Well, that's how you say it when you're upside down. But if, I don't know, like, God damn it.
Cent 50. Sorry.
No, but I mean, you guys really make a good point. Like, as if they're like piranha. So it's like you're gonna fuck with one of them, and then the second that one's murdered, you turn around and there's an entire gaggle of them, and then you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I agree. So it's a low.
So I feel like the power.
It's really a who are you gonna sacrifice situation. Which one of us is getting the pickaxe to the knee?
It's me, isn't it?
An arrow to the knee.
Colby.
All right, iconography though.
Well, you know what, Taylor, we just met.
Colby,
I'm sorry.
Colby and I will be wounded, and just like that action movie where we're back to back and just fighting them off.
I fucking love that
as much as humanly possible.
I'll Juno my ass out of there, dude. Team J.
Me and Big Ross will let all the skinny guys get out of there.
Oh God, get the fuck out of here, guys!
We already had trouble fitting through the fucking birthing canals.
Yeah. I'm actually, Colby, you made it through. I'm only halfway through that too. And I'm just desperately fucking like, it's like scared kitten defense. I'm like kind of slapping in the front and kicking in the back.
It's like the mullet of kitten defense.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, there you go.
Iconography 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Once you
they're kind of generic.
Yeah. They look just like bat people. Creature things, you know what I mean? Like there's no,
which I guess is good. You know, that's what they. If they're supposed to be people who evolved into these things, it shouldn't be too extravagant.
Totally. I think I would have liked to just to give a little more, because I think the creatures by themselves are fine. But if the implication is that like they were some form of like primitive man who like basically adapted to I would love to see like tribal markings or like scarification would be kind of interesting. So like something that makes them like a society underground versus, I guess, I mean, but if the
maniacs,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
that seems like it almost would make them, I don't know, too smart though.
Oh, that's true.
Human.
Yeah, too human
to have a culture.
Yeah,
to have a sort of it takes the animalistic nature out of
it. That's a very good
I
point.
don't know. In that case too, then we're definitely screwed.
Yeah.
Then why aren't they thriving? I don't know. But they're tough, but iconography wise, I like the idea of it, Ross. It would have lended to their iconography a lot more.
Yeah.
And probably set them apart from what they are. But as it sits, a 2 is what I think. So like, I don't know, around 4 to 5 for these guys. with our
Works for
villain
me.
level.
Agreed.
Dope. You want to see a sequel? Does this one deserve a sequel?
It has
Regardless of it having one, if it didn't have one and you saw this, would you want more?
No.
one. Of course.
I'm like, even when I had only seen the American ending, I was like, it's good. Wrap it up. Like,
Nice
what are you
little
going to
bow.
do? Like, because of the way the story is told with the first half being just everything about it. Yeah, it's just perfect the way it is. Doesn't need a sequel. Like I said, I started the sequel to see what was going on. I was like, ugh, this is what they did. So I didn't even get to really anything other than them finding her exit, which is not the exit from this. Ross and Brian, do you mind if I spoil the beginning of the second one for you?
Go for it. Go for it.
Listeners, I'm going to spoil it too.
Wait, I take it back. I don't want
Sarah's in the hospital. She's alive, but she has amnesia and no memory of what's happened to her the past 2 days. And they think that the other girls might still be alive in there. So the sheriff is secretly going to make these rescue spelunkers take her back in the caves to find them.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm fucking turning this off.
So
Interesting.
So going with what Sam said earlier with the American ending, it could have ended perfectly there. We didn't need anything. So with the UK, that's how the sequel kind of ended up happening.
Mhm.
But the amnesia thing with her memory being gone, that's such a lazy way of writing. Like, I hate that. I can't stand that. I would have loved it just to be a one-on.
And send her back to the caves. Just have somebody else going into the caves. Make it about the rescuers going to find them.
Yeah, that'd be
something.
that'd be
you
sick.
know what I mean?
If sequel idea is that beepy fucking watch, if something on their gear had some kind of GPS and then someone's family member gets a blip of it, so like they decide to
It moved, or it's like moving around inside.
Yes,
because one of these fucking creatures is wearing it.
or hasn't pooped it out yet.
Yeah, I mean, the part 2, the second one is a different team writing and directing it. It's not the same.
Oh, you can tell. You can fucking tell.
Yeah. I believe it. All right, that's good there. So let's go over to what do we do next? Would you buy the soundtrack or score for this one on vinyl? It didn't particularly stand out for me.
I mean, the score's pretty dramatic, string, orchestral stuff going on.
Ominous.
Pretty dramatic and generic.
Yeah, it works well for the movie.
Yeah,
But
I thought it'd just be like 2 hours of echolocation, so just clicks and growling.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, like I think, Sam, you said it worked well for the movie. I thought it was great within it, but I don't need to listen.
Yeah, totally.
No.
All right. Is anything action figure worthy? Definitely these creatures. I think are even the characters like a bloodied up Sarah would be awesome, holding a pickaxe and a torch or something. Yeah, fresh out of a gore pit.
I want a gore pit.
Disemboweled Holly.
Oh yeah.
I like that. Holly.
The lady hanging from the cave.
That'd be good. Like a light switch.
What about
like
Rebar
on your
Paul?
fan?
Ooh.
A
It could be
whole
it's a
car
pencil
scene.
holder.
Yeah.
So you just put this
There you go. Perfect.
Kid Kebab
Pencil
pencil
holder.
holder.
Pencil
Throw it all in
sharpener.
there.
No one would get it. No
My
one would
pencil
get it.
holder from the
No,
descent.
I honestly I would love like bookends would be amazing.
That'd be
like,
cool.
Where you have like them crawling through on one side and then just all the creatures on the other end just waiting.
Oh, that's fun.
I like it. Beautiful. So what kind of merch or prop would you want from this film?
Dude, merch, the gore bath with like, it doesn't have to be Descent shirt. It could be like a band. It could be band merch. The gore pit with fucking like some deathcore band font, something. That would be the sickest shit ever.
All I'm picturing is calling dibs on that. So somewhere in your house, you just like fucking open a door and there's just a gore grotto that's just hanging out.
Grotto.
The grotto.
Oh, the grotto.
Grotto.
I want the antler that goes through that
that's a
mama
good one.
bald lady
That's a
head.
good
Nice.
I want that.
I'll take that feather necklace.
Oh yeah, live each day,
Right.
baby. Live each day.
I get the old timey lantern would be a fucking fun one.
That'd be cool.
One of the ice axes as well. That like if it was still like bloodied up or
Ooh,
something like
yeah.
that, that'd be fun.
Get
Sam?
the prop head of the thumb pushed in feller.
I was gonna say
That'd
good
be cool.
promo item. The gore pit bath bomb.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Dude.
I figured. Okay, cool, perfect.
I have an Art the Clown bath bomb I've never used.
Oh, see,
I'll have to send a picture of it in Discord.
That's amazing.
Nice, hell yeah.
With you in it.
Promotional popcorn bucket. What are we doing, guys? If you want to make it fuckable, by all means, do.
Eye socket.
Oh yeah, just one of the creatures with one. It's like you have to pop the eyes. That's where the straw goes in, or that's where like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or a replica of
I'm just
Juno.
making-
She's already been ran through by everybody apparently.
Right? I'm making it.
Stop being a hater.
I'm surprised she didn't be like, wait, maybe we could, work something out.
Are any of you creatures buried?
Doesn't matter. Oh, she would go
But
towards
I would
them.
just do the entrance for the cave, the whole.
Oh yeah, a cave
log
bucket.
and everything.
Cave bucket.
Yeah.
Dude, the entrance
just-
for the cave, but
It'd be
it's
sick as
filled with
fuck.
the gore pit for the lube.
Ooh. Oh
God.
It comes with a gore pit sauce.
Oh, see, I'm just thinking of it as a popcorn bucket.
Oh, I was talking about the fuckable popcorn bucket.
What about
You can
what
lube
about
it up
Paul's
later.
head with the rebar?
Paul's head?
What was that?
Paul's head.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
with the
it is-
rebar.
yeah,
the
that
rebar
would
hole.
be-
Yeah.
It feels like it wouldn't hold my popcorn that well. It would just fall through.
I thought that was popcorn was a euphemism the way you said it. Feels like it wouldn't hold my popcorn
that's what I
that well.
It would hold my popcorn.
I have a lot of popcorn. I don't know if it would hold
We'll
it.
go with that. All right, so to pull out our fucking chompy subterranean chads as we rate this film on our Chuddle scale.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason's fingers.
Show them.
On this show, we like to use our subjective rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers. We each cut off a finger, adding to that score more fingers, higher score. Engaging t-shirtable cockles and rewatch. Engaging sticky t-shirtable cockles, rewatchable. Sam, I'm going to start with you and then go to Ross after that.
Engaging is a 1. Super engaged. You just can't help it. It's such a thrill ride. You're so compressed. Sticky, I'm going to give 0.75 because I watched it somewhat recently for the first time and I remembered a lot of key stuff, but I was still kind of like, ooh, what's going to happen? For the most part, I was just like, I know they're all at least going to live till the monsters come, so we'll be safe through all this scary cave parts. T-shirtable is a 1. I would definitely get the Descent shirt if I saw it. The poster, oh my goodness, how awesome is the poster? All the ladies with the skull,
Oh, the
light
Dali's,
shining through.
Dude, that Dali skull is super fucking cool.
It is rad. Cockles, it's a 1 on the cockles, and especially now knowing the other ending, so I'm happy I got that Blu-ray on the way. Because that was really the only thing that kind of took me out of it, despite not being able to follow what characters what or this, that, the other doesn't really bother me, but that American ending did, so glad that's not part of it. And rewatchable is probably going to get a 0.75 as well. It's almost a full 1, but it's just it's a bit heavy, it's not something I'm always going to be in the mood for, but it still rips. And a 4.5 out of 5 feels right. It's higher than I rated after my first watch, but it's gone up in my hort since then, so I'm happy with that.
Love it. All right, Ross, you're up, bud.
Oh, go goody. Engaging is going to get a 1. I mean, just by proxy, I mean, the best way to engage with your audience is to cut all the lighting out, so you have to focus on the fucking movie. I was engaged the entire time, and I realized even when I was attempting to disconnect from the film, I had to suck myself directly back into the movie to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Sticky is... I think Sticky's going to get a 0.75 because I feel that I should, for the amount of times that I've seen it, I should have remembered more about it than the general synopsis. But still awesome. Still some really gore pits, eye plunging, throat stabbing, batty, weird shit. They're ingrained in my brain. T-shirtable is going, this is weird. I do like the Dali skull. T-shirtable gets a 0.5 for me. It's not It's a good movie. I just don't know. Like, it'd have to really be.
You just don't like it enough for that?
No, it's just like.
Because think about how many beautiful shots we talked about were in the movie.
Oh, totally.
It's like full of prime making good shirts material.
Totally. No, but I think it's a creature feature that I do enjoy, but it would be like, it'd have to be the right shirt, not just any shirt for me. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So that's where it kind of knocks. Like a 1 for me is like any shirt of this would be awesome. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't. That doesn't exist for me. It has to be a cool shirt. But I understand
totally.
Scale works differently for different people.
Cockles is going to. Fuck it. Cockles is going to get a 1. It's awesome.
Oh.
It's super. I don't know. Every time I watch it, I feel like I'm getting something different. Probably because my eyes are straining because it's so fucking dark that I'm probably picking up something that I didn't catch the other times. The other one rewatchable to me is gonna get. I think it leans really heavy on what you were saying with just kind of like how heavy the movie is and how much you actually are dependent on maintaining your focus on the movie. Like, this is not a movie that you're going to be fucking just like cleaning your house.
Cleaning the house.
Cleaning the house and watching Descent. Yeah, I would probably give that a 0.5 just because like I feel like you have to me, I have to be in a right ecosystem to fully watch this movie, or else I'd probably just watch something else.
Does 3.75 out of 5 make sense?
No, it should be a 4. It should be at least a 4. So
I'm gonna kick up T-Shirtable to 0.75.
Hey, thanks.
There you go. 4 out of 5.
Cool. All right. Engaging, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1. Fully engaged throughout the whole movie. Sticky, I think a 0.75 works, like you guys were saying. How much? I'll remember a lot of it, but I don't know if I'll remember specifics, but I still think it's going to stick. T-Shirtable, I agree with 1. Like, I think there's a lot of really cool imagery you could do with this. Cockles, I'm going to give a 1 because it was really rocking the cockles. I was feeling it as like a good, scary, intense. It was doing what it was meant to do. And rewatchable, I'll agree with the 0.75. Or maybe I'm agreeing with someone, I forget. But I think it is. Yep. I mean, I don't know, just throw this movie on. I get that the themes are very heavy-handed, but I think it's a cool thing to just like, I think it looks good and I could just have it on while I am cleaning. So why not? And a 4.5 sounds great to me. So let's go ahead and jump over to our guests for tonight. Taylor, I'm going to go to you first, and Colby is going to clean us up.
Colby, the OJ apologist. For engaging, I'm going to give it a 1. It was super engaging throughout the whole film. Again, I'm biased. It's one of my favorite films. But it just, even when it's slow, it's still beautifully shot. There's still a lot there. It gives you something to grasp onto from the very beginning. I just think it stays that way throughout. If not, starts off at a medium pace, slightly dips, and then just goes all the way to a 10, which I think averages it all out. Sticky, I remember so much, like the gore pit. You remember the gore pit, the beautiful shots, cinematography, like the birthday candles that we keep like mentioning over and over again. And like, I think it's one of the most brilliantly simplistic creature designs, in my opinion. Like it's very simple, but it's very effective, because like, when have we been scared like that with a creature so simple that you can think of off the top of your head? T-Shirtable, I give the Sticky a 1. Obviously, Engaging gets a 1. T-Shirtable, I'm gonna give a 1 because like there's an unrated version of the film that's like the front cover of the DVD is Sarah like covered in blood, looking up with her hair all like wet. That would be such a cool shirt.
Just
bought
like
that. Cannibal Corpse, like a Cannibal Corpse shirt or something like that. Is that actually exist?
No, I just bought the unrated Blu-rays. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
If they make that into a shirt, I would die. Cockles, just complete claustrophobic, gore, madness, terrifying jump scares. Like, even when there didn't need to be jump scares, there were jump scares, and they still got me. And I was kind of mad because I was like, that's so cliche. Why did that get me? But I was still, that gets a 1. And then rewatchability, I give it a 7.5. I still watch it, but you have to be engaged. It is not a movie that you can watch just like hanging out. But I feel like we all know that, and we would never watch it like while we clean the house. It's like we're gonna sit down and watch it kind of thing.
I'm sorry. What did you say for
clean your house?
Cockles?
Was a 1. I got it.
Okay. 7.5.
Rewatchable was 0.75. I thought Cockles.
You said Cockles 1.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Goggles is 1 or rewatchability.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just so caught up in what you were saying, I forgot to plug it into the.
Oh no worries. I probably like fumbled around.
All right, Colby.
All right, engaging. I'm giving a 1. It's like, even I don't want to be on my phone when I'm watching it. Like, I'm always on my phone. That's one that I don't even care about where my phone is. Whatever. Like, I'm fully engaged in this movie. Sticky, definitely a 1. Especially with the ice pick through the neck. Like, that's always gonna live with me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
T-shirtable, that's a 1. You can do so many things with this. There's so much different imagery you can use for t-shirts on this. And then, like I said, even like, I think this is with a lot of horror movies, but especially with the gore pit for this on a metal shirt, dude, that would be insane.
Oh yeah.
It would be sick.
Cockles 1. Cockles hit a lot of different areas for me. Like Taylor said, the claustrophobia, the jump scares. I really like the creature feature design too. It's very simple, but it still worked really well for me. And then rewatchable, I'll go 0.5. For that, it's definitely a mood you have to be in. Like, if I don't want to watch something about grief, like, it's definitely one I'll skip. If I don't want to see something happen to a little kid, don't want to watch that.
Right.
But I mean, every time I do watch this movie,
Implied.
So
It's the implication.
It's the implication.
So
for Cockles, you gave it a 1, correct?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So that's a 4.5 from you.
Yeah, 4.5.
Love it.
Rope burned fingers.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
Good
there
call.
you go.
All right. We got some from our Discord. Boy, do we ever.
Went ham on this one.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I sure did.
I almost did it
All
too,
right.
but I was like, wait, I'm fucking on this one.
You're going to be on the thing, man. We got you here for it. So for the club coming in, our first one from... How is this ordered here? Let's just go in the reverse order. Sergio from the Horror Bandwagon pops in. Engaging 1. I mean, that opener alone, I am hooked. Plus, I do like the drama between all the characters in it. Didn't feel forced to me and kept me engaged throughout the movie. Sticky 1. Yes, we have claustrophobia. Yes, I have claustrophobia. So squeezing through a small cave is something I will never do. But this movie shows me why. T-shirtable 1. Definitely get the creature behind Beth through the camera lens on a shirt, plus blood pool scene. Loves all of it. Cockles 1. Watching this definitely creeped me out. Rewatchable 0.75. Yeah, pop that baby in. Sometimes I do need to be in the mood for it, though, because some of the themes can be heavy. Agreeing with it all, but a 4.75, so very high up there. Scotty from Fun with Horror pops in. Engaging 1. Riveted every single time. Sticky 1. Yes, that was a 1 for engaging. T-shirtable 1. Give me a t-shirt of her surfacing from the blood pool, gore pit, blood pit. Give me that shirt. Cockles 1. One of the single greatest horror movie theater viewings of my life. My buddy still makes fun of me for how high I jumped out of my seat. Rewatchable 1. Eternally rewatchable. Easily a top 20 film, horror film of his. 5. Full spelunking fingers. Thanks for covering this masterpiece, he says. Traveling Strawberries popped in to say it's one of those movies that is super memorable, but at the same time, I barely remember any of it, if that makes sense. Ha 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 ha. Also, not enough spice. 3.5 out of 5, which is still a pretty good score. T-Boo, engaging 1. The sad opening is a solid hook in the journey into the earth, and all of the undiscovered dark claustrophobic spaces kept me glued. Sticky 0.5. I forgot a good amount of this film because every time I rewatch it, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, this happens. T-shirtable 0.25. There certainly could be some incredible imagery and artistic interpretations, but I'm not dying for a shirt. Cockles 1. Even though I don't always remember it, every watch gets me hyped, keeps me tense, and I love the ending. And Rewatchable has a 1. I've seen it probably 10 or more times since its release. 3.75 out of 5. And he shrugs. He's throwing bones from the cave floor at the screen for the late night show. Couple more. Horror junkies. This is Mike popping
Thanks
in.
for joining us, by the way, T-Boo.
Yeah.
He's here with us. Yeah, we see ya.
It's funny because the photo that Colby has as his background is of T-Boo, like a screenshot of him recording. So it's like his mic and the headphones and everything. So it just Looks like he looks every time we see him. The only times we see him.
Yep, hanging out, recording.
One day.
All right, so Mike from Horror Junkies, engaging. 1, I think for a movie that is consistently dark, it does a decent job of keeping the viewer guessing where the creatures are lurking. Sticky, 0.75. Movie has an insane introduction that sticks with you. Once we descend into the cave, this movie becomes a play on the senses. T-shirtable, 0.5. I defer to my constant if Rucking Fountain made a drop, I'd probably pick something up. Cockles, 1. This movie allows the viewer to observe and work their way through the grief of the main character. We see her life shatter from start to end. Rewatchable, 1. I love this movie and used to watch it as a teenager and head into caves in the National Forest in Ocala. Plus the kills and blood-curdling screams are horrific. I give this a solid 4.25, one of my favorite creature features and something that I really enjoy watching. Plus Blood Pool, Gore Pit is epic.
I would never watch this and then go into a cave.
Want to go spelunking?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I kind of want to do it now.
I'd go into one of the ones we talk about, I guess, if it's like that. It's fine.
We're going to one of the... Yeah, we're going to that one, Sam. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, Juno, calm
down. Weird popped in as well and said, oh, well, she's agreeing with someone before her, so maybe I should read Evan's first. Evan says, engaging, 0.25. I've lost interest on every rewatch. Sticky, 0.25. I think the only thing that stuck was dude getting straight up Final Destination with that pipe to his head. T-shirtable, 0.25. Maybe the creatures or a cavern. I don't know, guys. It should get a 0. Cockles, 0.25. I don't mind spelunking. I've done it many times in the past, but nothing like this happened. Good. Rewatchable, 0.75. I have seen this plenty of times and I just didn't like it each time. I do this for the Chuddles and my wife. My wife. So I don't understand.
My wife.
Fellas, if I'm right, that gives it 1.75 in the grave. I don't mean to shit on it, just not my cup of tea. And then Weird says, I would agree with Evan on this. I've seen it a couple times. I can't remember anything about it. It was okay to have something going on in the background, but I've never been spelunking and doubt I'll ever try it. And this movie has nothing to do with that. I think the creatures were cool. So...
Can I spite change my score to a 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Spite change?
I'm gonna change it to a 5.
Of course.
Rewatchability, I give it a 0.75. I want to give it a 1.
Watch it every day.
I want to watch it every day
I'm
now.
gonna put it on twice a day.
Spite, like a Larry David style. I'm gonna open a Spite store right next to whatever you do.
Overall, the club is giving this one high marks. I'd say it's sitting in the 4, probably very close to us. I mean, our Chuddle score for it is a 4.3, which puts it into the Chuddle Club Crypt, which sits it into some very good company. So, I mean, we haven't had, I forget what our last one to pop into here was, but right around this range. Shit, there's a lot kind of sitting here now. I mean, some good ones. The Lawnmower Man, Deep Red, Fido, Bride of Chucky, all sit around at 4.3s. Right above it, we have things like Scare Package, Halloween, The Black Phone at 4.5s, and right below it at 4.2s, we have Halloween, Scream 2. So the higher one was Halloween OG, the lower one was Halloween 2018, Scream 2's Final Destination 2 and stuff like that. So it's up there.
It is a lot of 4.3s. Holy shit.
What's the highest rated Chuddle movie? There's
a couple 5s. Those are all certified Chuddles. Yeah. So the highest ones, there's like 8 or 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Scream, Psycho Goreman, Nightmare
on
Elm
Street,
Taylor
Pussy Scream. Cake.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a certified Chuddle, and
it is 5.
We won't hear it otherwise. Oh, is this the moment in the podcast where we just had 2 hours of a good time hanging out together, and now we're never going to talk again because of Scream? So that's it. Nothing else. We Chuddled.
Hey.
We Chuddled.
We did it. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Did we just get out the other side of the mountain?
Coming on.
We got it out.
We did.
We got it out, and we
found the other exit.
I have a feeling I'm gonna wake up and still be in the mountain.
Well, hopefully not. And then
Ross and I fought all the ball tailors off.
Yeah. Or
Brian fucking.
This is a very follically privileged group
or
of
Chad
people.
Corgans. are just in a huge meat pile.
But this was certainly a fun one to go through. I was excited to see it finally.
Yeah.
It's always been on the list, but I never got around to it.
I'm glad you liked it.
I'm glad we had a fun time with it too.
You've heard generally good things about it, so you don't, that can often lead to disappointment.
Indeed.
I feel like I would be safe in this situation. When you guys were talking about earlier, like what's the threat level of like this situation? Would you make it out? I would make it out. You guys wouldn't, because my brethren are not going to attack another brethren. I would just pretend to be like crazy.
You would just
like,
strip naked and just like start
just
like
take your
wandering,
glasses off and start
be
bumping
like some
into
Shaun
stuff.
of the Dead style like type shit.
Yeah,
I would Juno every single one of you.
That's perfect.
And just like make it out of the mountain.
That's how he does it. It works. Well, thank you guys so much, Colby and Taylor. The Horror House podcast.
No, thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
You need to go and listen.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much. This ruled, dude.
We appreciate having you guys on. We'll
thanks,
definitely pick you back up and have another go at it and fun time with it for
we're
sure.
gonna get weird again.
You're welcome back.
It's an automatic.
We have to
yes.
have all three of you on as well, because we had Sam and Brian.
Good luck.
We didn't have one with Ross.
Yeah,
so.
you can definitely get me and Brian again.
I think you have better chances of finding weird cave creatures if you go spelunking.
I just look at Taylor.
I live up to my Bigfoot name.
Mm-hmm.
Please be ready for like way less professionalism though. Like way less.
Quote unquote.
Way less.
Well, we thank you guys so much. Where can people follow you? Is it at the where do you want people?
Yeah, plug your stuff.
So for the Instagram, it's just the Horror House Pod on Instagram, and then TikTok, I am the Horror House Pod on TikTok. I do a lot of movie reviews. I drop funny random videos as well, and then Taylor over here,
OJ Promotions.
And what promotions?
You can find me at Taylor Complains on TikTok and literally everything. It's just Taylor Complains because it's
got them all.
He's underselling it. He has some of the funniest movie reviews on TikTok.
It's not true.
Toxic.
I'm a Juno.
Don't say that. Let people decide for themselves.
Decide for yourselves.
Apologist.
Yeah, exactly. Get out there. Put these people in your ears and listen to them. If you're a Chuddle head, you'll like it. So thank you guys. Ross, Sam, I always appreciate you being here. Patrons, we love you so much. Don't forget to follow Ross at Ross Purvis on Instagram to behold his visions of artwork and tattooing. Buy his artwork. Get tattooed by him. Do all the fun stuff there. Follow Sam at Chuddle the Sam on Letterboxd, and me at Chuddle the Brian with a Y, and Chuddle the Pod on Instagram and all the other places. Get at us. Rate, review us. We love to see that. And until next time.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends and avoid the time loop.